Yeah, boy.
Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados right here on Thinking Critical YouTube. We've got 2 hours of only comic book talk. We've been talking about movies and all that stuff because there just hasn't been a lot of comic news lately. But we're wall-to-wall comic books and birthdays. Just turned 45 this week. We're going to have a little celebration, have a good time. And we got a wonderful panel. Josh has noped out. Once he found out how old I was, he said I was too old to hang out with. So whatever, Josh. You're welcome back. But we do have some great people. We've got Gray from Wakizashi's Tea House. How you doing, Gray?
I'm doing great, Wes. Thanks a lot for inviting me on for your special celebratory live stream. Looking forward to talking some comics with the aficionados.
Fellow expat, but you're in Japan, and I'm in the Philippines, and obviously you're British and I'm American.
Yeah. I'm the diversity hire today, Wes, aren't I? I'm the Brit in Japan, colonizing the country slowly.
Oh, my goodness, the colonizers here. You have anything on the channel people should be looking out for? Do you have a special interview or a review that you thought was really good?
Not really, no. Just reviewed the last Amazing Spider-Man, but I think we're going to talk about that later, aren't we?
Oh, that's the first thing. We got to hit her number one. It's amazing comic book. Who else we got? We got Jim from Weird Science DC. How you doing, Jim?
Hello, Wes. Happy birthday, and happy to be here.
Well, very nice. So I'm only 45 years old. When I get to your age, am I going to stop celebrating birthdays?
Yes, you will. Once you hit the 93, then you give up, is what happens. That just remember that.
So there's been some stuff people are talking about on your guys' YouTube channel, Weird Science. Was it Gabe that got you in trouble? What happened there?
Yeah, it's Gabe always gets me in trouble. That's all he does. I mean, he ends up rating. He's got wacky rating systems, that Gabe is really a lot of the things that goes on as well.
Did he call ASM 20 like a triumph or something?
No, he actually gave that a decent score, 2. I think he gave
that's
that.
Better than it deserved.
Yeah, it is actually. It is. But he's big on. He seems like Lazarus Planet, which I don't get. But he likes weird things.
He liked the Attack on Krypton and Dark Fate.
I don't. I think he liked the Dark Fate deal, and then he liked this.
That's right. He was one of the guys who gave it a 7. I was
like,
what is he, blind?
I don't know. Again, on the channel and on the site and everything, I don't like to tell people what their scores should be or that they're wrong. But he's always wrong, I think, is what happens.
What happened to Gabe? He used to be this great smart plug where he would be honest and people would be like, wow, he's a champion of the people, and now it feels like he's sold out.
Yeah, I think he has. We actually said we appreciate it because it keeps us in good graces with DC, even though we hate everything.
Yeah, because Gabe just writes a bad review every once in a while.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why we love him.
Definitely check that out on the YouTube channel. We've also got Skip and Tosh returning to the channel. Where you been, Skip?
I'm enlightening the goddamn beam. That's where I've been. Let's go, Sacramento Kings. Did y'all see that win? Let's go.
176 to 175?
We whooped that ass, and now everybody knows. That's right.
With Kawhi and George on the court.
And Russell Westbrook is on their team. He fouled out at the time, but Sabonis fouled out too. Anyway, like the damn beam. That's where I've been there and reading comics. And happy birthday, old man. When I first met you and you was starting this channel, you was my age. What happened?
I don't know what happened. I just kept getting older, and you got better with age. I don't know.
I don't know. Funny how it works like that, but Doc, automatic Kafka, Doc, automatic Kafka.
I love automatic Kafka.
I know, but I put it in the chat like every single week, and you ignore me, and I'm like, Doc is ignoring
man, I'm sorry. Sometimes I don't pay attention to the chat.
That's all right.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't.
He's too stupid to read.
Yes,
well,
exactly.
Those are your words, not mine. But Doc, I love you, Doc. Automatic Kafka.
There we go. Skip in the house. Very happy because he's lighting the beam. Sacramento is finally good again. You'll get 2 or 3 seasons, and they'll be bad for another decade. But enjoy it while you can. I'm a Chiefs fan. It happened to us too.
Yeah, you're telling.
Although
the
we
truth,
beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Did you see that?
I did. Congratulations to your Chiefs. I was excited for you.
That didn't happen.
Jim, did you see the Super Bowl?
No, it's the Super Bowl? What is that? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Chiefs beat the Eagles?
Yeah, I think the refs might have helped.
Oh, my goodness. You keep telling
That's all I can grab onto. I already told you that the Eagles didn't show up for the most part except for Jalen Hurts, but still, I'm going to blame it on the refs.
Yep. Malik Monk did have 45. Amazing stuff. We've also got Yul Carter from Berkeley, California, the proprietor of Fantastic Comics. How are you doing, Yul?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me on. It snowed in Berkeley this week. Crazy.
Crazy.
Did you wreck your
It
car?
didn't snow where the store is, but up the hill a little bit. But Berkeley,
Very nice.
yeah, we had crazy weather here the last week.
Beautiful. Did people still come and buy their comic books?
Oh yeah, well, it wasn't that bad. I mean, rain where I was, but up a hill in Berkeley there was snow. But yeah,
Very
of course.
good. Anything
I mean,
going on
Wednesday
for the shop?
was-
You got any big sales on your e-commerce site?
No, I'm not even doing that right now. I sell to people that contact me on Twitter or Instagram, and a lot of times it's from my Yule Twitter handle, which is Big Blue Yule, and we talk, find out what people want, and I send it to them. Usually, the packaging is pretty good, from what I understand.
Well, you're the one that's doing the packaging. I hope you do as good a job as you can.
I don't know how it ends up. It's all mail.
Oh, when you go to the U.S.
media.
Post Office, you never know.
Yeah. I give it to the guy at the one, and he's so old. Like, not like you old. Not like me old. Old. And he doesn't seem like he really wants to be there. So I give him the the package, make sure everything's right. And he took it and he just flung it behind him into the box of boxes. But no, I did fine on that one too. I think that was actually a Fatal J book that I sent him when I sent him The Mandalorian.
I do want to say thank you very much for all the birthday shout outs. I'm seeing a whole lot of them in there. We're definitely going to get to some of those. Doc, you're here. Anything exciting going on in your life?
Well, it was 70 degrees in Pittsburgh on Thursday and 25 on Friday.
Makes sense.
Because why the fuck not? Also, I love that you titled this stream Birthday Bash number 45. We all... what I really loved was Birthday Bash number 9 from before YouTube existed by 30 years. That was really fun.
Is that more dad jokes, Doc? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
I expect that
Yes.
shit from Jim. You're supposed to be like on the cutting edge of this stuff.
Jasper Plan 9, there is the weather report from Pittsburgh. So you're welcome.
Trust me,
it's
once you
fucking
hit
cold.
45, the weather's more important than you know. Your
Yeah.
joints start aching up. If the weather changes here, my hands don't work right for 2 days. It's worth talking about. Yule knows what I'm talking about. Jim knows what I'm talking about. Gray might be my age.
It's cold in Philadelphia right now, just to throw it out there.
Time for a reboot. No, we don't reboot at 45 around here. We just keep going. It's an ongoing thing.
we need to renumber you. You need a relaunch like Marvel Comics.
That's right.
Especially whenever, and it's going to be the same shit, same exact story. Nothing's going to change. Same writer, same everything, but just a new number 1 because we're going to try to convince you that next year, Wes, you turn 1. Congratulations, early.
Speaking of that, Doc and I have already reviewed Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain number 1, and we're gonna publish it on Monday. So
That's
shout
a
out to
number
DC.
2.
AKA Excalibur number whatever the fuck it would be.
Yeah.
29 or something. My goodness. We do have some super chats I'll hit real quick. Cal Miles says, I understand why Doc hates Tim Seeley because he wrote the recent He-Man comic and it's nothing. It made no sense and it has pages done by that stupid Squirrel Girl artist.
Tim Seeley's a bad artist.
Erica Henderson worked on that?
Well, Tim Seeley's a bad artist and a bad writer.
Yeah.
No, he was an artist. He started as an
Yeah.
artist, and he was not
He's
a good enough artist.
though.
Yeah,
You know
he
what
was
I mean?
not a
No.
good enough artist. Kind of like Chip Zdarsky, not a good enough artist to really do a book regularly and transition to being a writer. My first exposure to him was in the death knell of the Wildstorm universe, and him and Tom Taylor tag teaming Wildcats and the Authority, I believe, and both of them were fucking terrible. Needless to say,
Tim Seeley and Tom Taylor tag teaming anything sounds like a nightmare.
Sexy.
it's probably a dude.
Allegedly.
Get out of here.
But yeah, no, he's a bad writer that has mediocre ideas and everything he writes is virtually nonsensical.
Yeah, he's mid. He is like Dan Jurgens light. Kind of.
He's, you know what? If he is so forgettable. He's not bad enough to be a Tinny Howard or a Vita, but he's not even good enough to be, Howard Mackey.
Hey, that Local Man number one went hard though. Shout out to Tim Seeley and Tony Fleeks for Local Man number one. That's gonna be on my recommended later.
Oh,
that was
goodness.
good.
Yeah, it was good.
I have it here, but I haven't read it yet.
Tony Fleeks is a good writer.
Tim Seeley, I've never found him to be anybody that I've wanted to read, and he's doing something coming up, but I'm like, I think I have to read it.
No.
Well, maybe he'll finally get to release his Daughter of Blade series.
Never, no.
It's a Danny Moore project now. We got the Sultan of Soup, Eric O'Sullivan. Happy birthday, Wes. Cheers to the best comics talk panel in live chat. I can't make it this week yet. I'm there in spirit and look forward to replaying later. Excelsior. P.S. Love Superman number 1, Class 793, and World's Finest number 12. I'm with you on 2 of those 3. I only like Superman number 1. Eric, I believe, is at a wake or something like that. Somebody Irish died, so he's probably drunk by now. Because we're coming up on noon.
It's only 10 a.m. in the Eastern.
No.
All right, so
that
he's
still goes.
So
Yeah,
he's definitely
he's
on his way to drunk.
On his way.
Yeah. So we're also with you in spirit, Eric. I would say enjoy the funeral, but we understand times get hard. I hope you enjoy. Celebrating the life and memory of someone taken away too early, and we're gonna miss you, brother. And thank you very much for the birthday talk. Really appreciate it. Caleb also said, "Happy birthday." Also, if you look like Simu Liu, you're a bigot, according to him. And Vita Ayala hates and doesn't understand money. I believe it.
If you look like
No. What he's talking about is there was something at a basketball game. There was an Asian dude in the audience, and they were doing like, who do you look like that's a celebrity?
They do that all the time.
And they did an Asian guy that they thought looked like Simu Liu, and apparently it's an all Asians look alike comment. I basically he didn't look exactly like Simu Liu, so apparently racist.
Yeah. You know who people say I look like? Anthony Michael Hall.
I could see it.
When he got older and wasn't a dork anymore.
Oh, I thought
USA?
dork times.
No, that would have been pretty peak and all that stuff.
I like the dork
older.
version of him, though, a lot better.
Yeah.
He was in the Batman, was it Batman, no, Dark Knight.
I'm gonna look at him right
He was
now.
the reporter. That's what I
I'm
was
a big
told.
fan.
Was he in Weird Science? Wes?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yes,
Oh
he is.
man,
Yes,
That was
yeah.
one
what
of
a
his dork
fantastic
areas.
movie!
Yeah,
Weird Science is a great movie, especially when they're wearing bras for hats and
it's
stuff.
the best.
Yeah,
You know,
like
It's actually
him
a pretty
little bit.
decent TV show, too.
It lasted way longer than anybody would have thought. It's true.
If Anthony Michael Hall has a beard, I think, maybe that works out a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Apparently
is
he's a
that
handsome guy.
racist? Is that racist saying
Yes,
you look
it
like
is.
Michael Anthony Hall? I mean,
I
that's
know
a
what?
weird
I almost
thing.
bought one of those Caucasian shirts with the logo from the Washington Redskins.
I would buy
But
the shit
I
out of
thought it
that
was
shirt.
hilarious. I love that shirt. That stuff doesn't bother me.
Wait, do they actually sell it somewhere?
Yes, it's on Amazon. I
Oh,
was this
fuck
close
yes,
to
I'm buying it. All right. I will own it before the end of this show. Hold on.
Skip, is it racist that I think you look like Damon Wayans when you're fully, shaved up?
Yes, but I pardon your racism, Wes, because we're very close.
You look just like him, and you sound like him when he's doing the Major Pain.
One,
I love
don't
Major
you
Payne.
feel dumb.
Yeah.
2,
Can you do the robot?
It's a good movie.
Yeah, no.
Nobody does a robot anymore.
I do. True story. When I was in home ec at high school, my teacher, who was white, crossed out my name and put Major Payne. And when she did roll, if I didn't answer by Major Payne, she marked me absent. Yeah,
I love it.
true story.
This is perfect. You look just like him. My goodness. Nerdy Girl Creates Carrie says, happy birthday, Wes. Well, thank you very much. I hope you are ready for some awesome comic book talk. We've also got Yellow Flash number 2. The man is in the house, calling it now. Peter, MJ, and Hardy in a poly relationship. Hardy dates Peter and MJ at the same time.
Okay, well, we need to make
Doc
this...
would like that.
It needs to be
Live
a
action.
Marvel Max title. We could bring back the Max line for this. I am okay.
Dynamite's the only publisher that can do that justice other than Merc. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no. I mean, well, hey, look, the Jessica Jones Alias series had her getting railed in the butt by
Wow.
Luke Cage in the first issue.
I want covers done by Xenoscope, though. That would make it even better.
Any of the Xenoscope artists.
Yeah.
All the
goodness.
J. Scott Campbell knockoffs they have there.
Yellow Flash 2, you might be correct, sir. Hopefully you're not, though. We'll see what happens. We're going to talk about Spider-Man here in a minute. My goodness, I got stuff to say. Lade Kraber says, Wes, now part of the Krabby generation for Comic Pros. I've always been part of the Krabby generation. I'm Gen X. That means I'm skeptical of everything, including myself. Right, Doc?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, us Gen Xers, we are naturally
Miserable.
I was left unsupervised
Nihilistic.
for the first 18 years of my life. My mom went to work, we went to school, we came home, and we fed ourselves.
Yes,
I don't trust anyone but myself and my brothers.
we are nihilistic as hell, and just we are we are the is what it is generation.
It's all the Wonder Bread we ate when we were younger.
And
Yeah.
I ate so much ramen, it's not even funny. 15 cents a package. Federico De La Casa from New Europe. Happy birthday, Wes. I just watched the latest My Hero Academia episode, and it moved me. Deku, not all the world is black and white, but shades of gray. That's why we have to give a hand of help. That's what we miss in USA Comics. Real hero. Can you believe it? Doc thinks the name Deku is too much for him to remember.
Yes,
That's the only reason he won't read manga, according to the Doc.
we
Well,
can
black
Names
and
are too
white
complicated. Deku is just.
we can start renaming them to like he could be my back deck.
My back deck. No, that doesn't even
Close
work.
enough. It's sort of the same. By the way, I already bought the Caucasians t-shirt. It's on the floor.
Yeah, I almost
It'll-
bought it myself, but I ended up getting a Quark shirt because I've been watching Deep Space Nine, and Quark is perfect.
It'll be here on Monday. So, fuck yeah.
I saw the episode where he wants to nail that Klingon woman. Anyone else see that one?
Yes, I remember that.
It's so good, and by the end he does it, and he's got like a compound fracture. He's broken his vertebrae and his ribs and stuff, and he's like, "It's worth it." She
Worth
ruined
it.
it.
You
Yeah,
don't
it's worth it.
understand the suction.
It was so good. So I decided to go with the Quark shirt instead of the Caucasian shirt, but I was this close to getting it. There was another one that said cracker or something on it. It was hilarious, but I don't know. That's just me. Mike Irish, happy birthday, Wes. Use this $5 to buy a comic you actually like. Do those exist? Absolutely. That's why we talk about the best comic books of the week every single weekend here. After this show, at least a few hours, we'll be talking to Drew about all the best comic books of the week. We got stuff from Marvel, DC, the Indies, all of them. Pink Lemonade, huh?
That's a great one.
Thank you, Yule. I knew Yule would know.
Well, you know, it's an independent. I mean, that's true independent comic.
Like they self-published it and
Pretty
printed and
much,
did all the
yeah.
work
They did
themselves.
like kickstarting at one time, and they have a nice little small company that they're growing, and that guy does pretty good stuff. I think his name's Cagnetti or something like that.
Yep, Cagnetti.
Yeah,
Sounds like an
it's fun.
NYPD character that's like a shady sergeant.
Yeah, it does.
But
fucking
Cagnetti
Cagnetti.
does it.
Cagnetti's on the case. It's like he's doing
Oh,
everything.
we're gonna get some police brutality on this one.
Exactly. Mr. DC Comics, happy birthday, Wes. Treat yourself and go see Cocaine Bear.
I hear
It
good
can't
things.
be good, right?
I am seeing this movie tonight because it doesn't need to be good. It just needs to entertain the shit out of me. That's all the more absurd it is, the better it's going to be.
Yeah.
It
It's
says
better.
it's inspired by true
It is.
events. I don't believe that.
Yeah,
Actually,
supposedly.
it is. there was a story back in the 80s whenever they were still transporting
Cocaine via personal planes?
Yeah, and they knew that they were going to get busted when they land, so they dumped it in the over some fucking park, and a bear ate one of the bricks.
Did he go insane and start messing people up, or did he die?
He died in about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So they're really, really, really exaggerating that he managed to, like, use multiple times. He just ate one brick and then was supposedly, theoretically, the most apex predator on the planet for about 15 minutes before he died of an overdose.
They weren't dilators. They'd be so dilated. Like,
exactly. So,
how did he get the straw? That's what I want to know.
No, he just ate it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think cocaine bears are going to do all right. It looks so funny.
I've heard it's really hard R, violent as well. Surprisingly, you know, they don't hold back on the gore.
Daniel Beatty says, I play Marvel Strike Force mobile game, yet Marvel Comics has more loot boxes. I have no idea what Peter did. Make it up as you go along.
Next month, you'll find out.
No, you won't.
Well,
they'll discuss it and not tell you what happened.
It's going all the way to the 25th.
It's going to be 25th. Yeah, you're going to have to wait.
It'll take 5
all
issues.
this time.
Yeah, 5 issues at least.
I can't believe what you did in Baltimore. Yeah, I can't. That was such a mistake, and then that'll be it for another year. I hate the mystery box storytelling. It's terrible. Fucking JJ.
But I do love Marvel Strike Force. Wait, no, I'm playing Marvel Snap. What am I saying? That's the one I'm playing.
Third Rail says Doc sounds like he's 45. Doc doesn't sound a day younger than 60.
Yeah.
At least what he says.
It's just the gravel in his voice. He sounds like he's had a hard life.
I have been a
he landed
smoker.
on D-Day or something.
Motherfucker, I've been a smoker for like the 30 years. So, yeah.
You started smoking when you were 9?
I started smoking in my,
high school?
12.
Wow. That's Gen X.
Dude, what the I mean, come on. We
used to go to Caro's or Denny's or whatever the hell it was, and they'd have these machines that you could get cigarettes out of.
Yes.
They had ashtrays on the table at Chuck E. Cheese when I was a kid.
That's right. There were places where there weren't non-smoking sections.
Yeah. Chuck E. Cheese was all smoking in the 1980s. Every birthday party you had, there was the cake. There was at least 4 aunts and uncles sitting there with cigarettes hanging out of their mouth, a lit cigarette in the ashtray right next to your birthday cake. Right,
lighting up the next one on the one they're smoking?
Hell yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Totally. Whereas I think Doc's got a voice that reminds me of a Japanese snack bar mama. You know, that real like gravelly, smoky, sexy voice.
That's right.
Sexy. That's one
my
way
dad loves Suzanne Plachette, and he's kind of the male version here. Doc is.
We got HH, the guys from Sigma Comics. Happy birthday to Wes, and hello to all from Atlanta Comic Con. We've learned so much on the road and embraced manga with our Kickstarter. Back at today, but first hit the like button. Wes has you covered. Definitely go to Kickstarter and back these guys. We're going to touch on some manga. Sigma Comics are doing a lot of great things. They're also going to be distributed nationwide too. So congratulations to those guys and all their success. If you're in Hot Atlanta, at least that's what we called it when I was like 18, definitely go to Atlanta Comic Con and go see HH the boys. And I guarantee you, he's going to sell you on a comic book. That's what he does. The guy is undeniable when he wants you to buy one of his comics. Mike Irish says, Drew keeps mispronouncing Mark Miller's last name. Yes, he does. You notice that as well. It's a problem because almost everything Mark Miller writes right now, you have to recommend. He's the best writer in comics. It's so weird.
He's been the best writer in comics for going on a decade.
Nah, there was like a period in the middle where he had some good stuff, but he wasn't that prolific. But right now, he's putting out so much stuff, and it's all good. It's shocking.
Yes, agreed.
Some people might say, like, maybe Ed Brubaker.
Hell yeah.
Ed Brubaker has been great for a long time.
I'm just saying,
definitely Ed over Mark for sure.
Yeah.
Ed only does one genre. He just
That's
does
true.
crime, though.
That's true. That's all he does now.
Miller's still kind of covering No, he doesn't do every genre, but he does 2 or 3.
Dude, he does a bunch though. Yeah,
He does
I mean,
a
it has
lot.
to be action based, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
other
still
than
better.
that, you know where he turned the corner for me, Mark Miller, was when he did Starlight, because it was tender, and it was high action also, and I thought it was, oh, this is a guy who's getting a little bit of age on him. He's putting some, he's not just doing the edgy stuff like he did.
You are correct there, sir. Calabile says there's a dinosaur horror out March 9th called 65. It's the same people that did Quiet Place with Sam Raimi, in case you're interested. A dinosaur horror movie.
That's the one with Adam Driver called where he's
Yeah, that's
he's
it.
on a spaceship, him and this girl, and they land on a planet. But apparently, it's going to be Earth 65 million years ago, and there's fucking
right.
dinosaurs
Cool.
chasing them down, but they got like fucking space pulse laser guns.
I'm down. Sounds
I'm
good.
down.
Close
Yeah.
to Jurassic Park, and I like that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Sam
generally
Raimi's
like that.
directing it.
Yeah,
Can't be bad.
Trailer
And you know
looks
what you're
good.
going to get? You're going to get a Bruce Campbell cameo, likely today.
but the thing is, Bruce Campbell. There's only 2 humans on the Earth yet, so Bruce Campbell has to be a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
No, he could be on. There's not going to be a crew with them.
No. It's only him and this like girl that survived the crash. Kind of like Alien 3.
So it's going to be like that Chris Pratt, Scarlett Johansson movie, but good.
Yeah, and they crash
only
land
2
on
people?
Earth because there's dinosaurs.
Yeah, no, I
That's
get
why
that
it's
point.
good, because they're dinosaurs.
Yeah, just them talking about maybe liking each other absolutely sucked for an hour and a half. Callum also says, I always thought Doc sounded like a soprano. Like he doesn't have balls and he's at a high pitch, or do you mean like sopranos? Like
Hello.
Oh, harsh. Also, I'm not at all Italian, so I'm Irish.
Well, I don't think you have to be. I don't think Yins has to be.
Nah,
Is he saying soprano like the singer or soprano like the show? I'm not sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he means the show. I think more castrati singer is what he sounds like in my mind.
I wouldn't see
Exactly.
Doc
That's
like
what I was thinking.
the Soprano show, but maybe like what's that stupid Philadelphia show with Danny DeVito?
Always sunny.
Always sunny.
Yeah.
Doc sounds like he should be in that show.
Oh, I like
But he's
that.
on the other side of the state. That's not fair.
I hate that whole fucking city. So the show would be over because I burned down the city in the first episode.
And yet I love Pittsburgh. See, I'm more the brotherly love part of the
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
that's what happens. Yeah.
Hate New York,
This'll-
but
This will tie us into our first topic. Lane says, last night with Comics Lead, I was defending the Peter-Felicia relationship direction they're going. Drew said he's okay with it, but he said it's being done crappy. I agree with that 100%. The only person that I know that likes the way that this was done in Amazing Spider-Man number 20 is Yul Carter. Defend yourself, sir.
Yeah.
You said it was a great comic book and everyone should read it.
I think it. Well, yeah, I do like it. Back in like 606, 607, when they were still rotating writers on Spider-Man, Joe Kelly did a Peter and Felicia story. Those were the cool Alex or J. Scott Campbell covers that everybody remembers. And those were so good and so funny that I was already looking forward to this. And the couples retreat thing was, cute and whatnot. That's fine. And then they're put in a situation where they're not really fighting villains. And I know that you were saying in your review of it that they had a lot of pages of action that weren't important. It was just that. But what was going on, though, was dialogue and story progressing. So even though they weren't really fighting against tough guys, I thought it was pretty
bad
fun.
dialogue.
Well, I
Did you
enjoyed
like
it.
the
I liked Joe Kelly.
patriarchy and the feminism?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. I mean, I wasn't like
Glad someone laughed.
rolling, but it was an okay issue. As far as the Felicia is going, it just feels like it's continuing from that point. It's been continuing since she was healing him in with Captain America, taking him out for training back when he was poisoned. We've been seeing her hanging out with Spidey for a while now, again, and they've had a long relationship.
All
I
right,
don't know.
so
They might even have a longer relationship than Peter and MJ, actually.
I gotta ask. I gotta
yeah.
ask something. I gotta ask something.
Yeah.
Did they address at all, since this is kind of a flashback story to explain what Peter did, how in the fuck do they get from Peter was about to propose again to MJ right when Nick Spencer left to he loves her like a sister? How the fuck do you get from there to there?
That was messed up.
That was a weird sentence, and I can understand where people are coming from in that. Let me ask this question. He doesn't remember that he was married to MJ because of Mephisto, correct?
Correct, but he also remembers that he was about to
propose
propose.
Now,
at the
like
end of Nick Spencer's
the ring.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Other than that, maybe she turned his ass down, or it wasn't going to happen. We're going to find out in 21 through 25, I guess, as far as like what's going on with MJ. But he's come to the realization. I think there's rationalization going on his part, and I could say like, oh, saying the sister thing that's what that is. It's like it's saying I'm okay with the situation that I'm in. I still have feelings for her. I'm talking to the other lady that I'm with right now. So these are the things that you say.
Yeah, I found it very weird though that Joe Kelly comes in for this 2-part and then pulls the bomb in his deal.
Dude, that
and
was
not,
weird.
So I don't know if it's one of those like, hey, we want to set this up. We'll let Joe Kelly take a bit of the fall. And then in these next bunch of issues, 25, we find out that something went so wacky that things are weird. And then we go like, hey, you want to give back MJ, and then people will be mad about that because you kind of duped us. It's just a weird play that Joe Kelly's the one that has that happen. And my biggest problem was, and I didn't love the dialogue, I thought that it was funny in a way that it was like, oh, this would have been funny in 2009 when that other story was. So if you did enjoy that story, I think that you will enjoy, the humor of it. It just felt very dated to me in that style. But the actual, and also just the lay of the land. They've had how many different Sinister Sixes now in the past, 6 months. So that kind of was a little bit, come on. But
they had 6 at the same time.
Yeah. And they just keep doing it with that. But I don't know. It felt so dated. It felt separate, but, obviously combining in with this run. But just didn't understand why they didn't leave a big thing like that for Zeb Wells so that then he could explain it. But we'll have to see. He was too
busy kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
Somebody had to come in and actually write the "What did Peter do" story that Zeb Wells been.
That is funny. That time he doesn't. And then, we have to find out what happened in York, PA. But does anybody really? I mean, I know we care about it, but by the time we find out, will it be possible to make it be big because it's taken so long?
Nobody will care because they didn't even keep it as like a subplot.
Yeah.
They would just drop it for 7 issues at a time, make mention that something happened, and then drop it for another 7 issues.
It's true.
The only thing we know is that people are upset with him and then he owes money.
Yeah, and the weird play is, though, in the first issue of Joe Kelly's deal, last issue, it seemed like Aunt May, who was mad at him, she wasn't mad anymore, and and then at one point he even said, "Man, it's so great now. I'm working, for Norman. I have money in the bank." I'm like, "What money in the bank? You owe a lot of money, dude. You better start paying back." Yeah. So
also, there was no mystery on why he owed money. It was from when he was in the hospital.
Yeah, when he was in the hospital.
They explained that in the first issue.
That's true. You're right.
Which again, is that just are we railing in on insurance? What is the play there of just, hey, I owe all this money, and it just seemed odd.
Can I ask, guys, did you notice the Joe Kelly 2 issues, aren't these supposed to happen after the miniseries is finished, the Black Cat and an MJ? Which
that's what it says.
It's only 3 issues in, it hasn't even finished yet. It's like these events take place after that's finished. So you're like, wait a minute. So you don't read these 2 issues until that's finished, and then come back and read them.
They always do that stuff.
Wait, are we sure that it's after this current Black Cat? Because there was already one.
That is true.
No, remember there was one during that Sinister War.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it might not be. And that debt collector, I mean, what? Fucking Chasm killed him.
Yeah,
That's why he's gone.
And that's what I've been told is if a guy's collecting money from you and that guy gets murdered, you no longer owe the money. I just want to throw that out there. Life hack, that is.
Because he actually owns that debt, he has purchased it.
I guess.
So unless he has someone that's a relative to inherit that debt ownership, he's dead. So there's nobody that owns that debt anymore.
Even that play seems like such a clunky, like just shows you that all of this setup is so clunky with how they're trying to do it, and it's taken too long. So you have to end up making things work in a way that you shouldn't have to do with some stories like that, and it's just so bad.
So Gray, you did a video on Amazing Spider-Man 20. Did you like it as much as Yule?
No, actually, surprisingly, I didn't. And I've been giving this run a fair shot. I got quite excited at the beginning of the run. I thought Zeb Wells was doing a good job in the beginning. He kind of brought it back down to a street level Spidey, with street level villains coming back, especially the Tombstone story. But then, as you guys were talking now, it got completely fragmented. It got split up by tie-ins to events which didn't matter or events which had already finished. Then we got the anniversary issue, and then we got these 2 issues of Joe Kelly which don't seem to fit in. Like we got an info dump about, MJ's married now to Paul. That was in the opening crawl. It's like, what? What is going on, Wes? I really am. I'm kind of lost. And then, like you were saying, I don't know even many people still care what Peter did.
Well, it's been 20 issues. It feels like they probably could have gotten around to that, but this issue, even the Dodson's art, you're like, hey, that'll be a nice change from John Romita Jr., who's doing better on Spider-Man than he was doing at DC. And the art is just terrible. They did rough drafts and they forgot to finish it.
Yeah, second issue was worse than the previous one, I thought. It looked very rushed. It looked very sketchy. The details you could see, they didn't have fingers on the hands and there was no faces on some of the characters. Like, oh my God, what's happened there?
Yeah, not in an AI way either with the fingers, right? Just no definition whatsoever. Like, this is my hand,
I think I just figured the whole story out. It's still Doc Ock in Peter's head.
That would be a long payoff.
That's a long con.
He's back. No, he's back in Peter's head somehow magically, and that's why he loves MJ like a sister and wants to bang Felicia again.
Hey. Actually, that would make more sense than anything else, probably. So I'll go with it. I'm with you, Doc.
The weird thing is, though, I knew that Joe Kelly was going to be doing these 2 issues, before Dark Web came out. And Dark Web didn't come out 2 a month. Yeah, it was 1 a month. So there was
plenty of time. Yeah.
I was looking forward to this because of the prior issues that Kelly has written before. And, I thought, all right, we're going to get some cool stuff. But the artwork, you're right, was so...
It was.
Look, I'm not the biggest Dodson fan anyway, and a lot of times the reason is because he isn't very detailed in a lot of spots. And I don't know what with Marvel and inking these days isn't as big a priority as it used to be. That might also be it. There used to be people that would go in and finish comic books for the artist and stuff like that. But... color is more important.
They were called finishers.
But even still, this was a definite degradation of Terry Dodson artwork for sure.
Maybe it was up in the air, and maybe they ended up, starting something, and then they thought something was already going to be set up, but it wasn't. And then, because the story is kind of, it's not really doing much. Maybe something got changed at the last second. They had to redo some things, but it looks unfinished. It really does.
Maybe they should stop releasing Spider-Man twice a month and just go back to a monthly release schedule and get a nice tight story and narrative that they can keep up with.
Hey, I might have an explanation for why it looks so rushed. It's the pages that are left over that they never even bothered to go back and redo, and Joe Kelly just scripted over unfinished pages from Black Cat, The Evil That Men Do, that Kevin Smith never bothered to finish.
That's it.
That could have been it. You're right.
Or Doc Ock is in Terry Dodson's head, is what happened.
Doc Ock
Also
in Terry Dodson's head.
Can I ask, guys, is it their biggest book? Is it their biggest seller? Because you think they would keep a consistent artist on the book, every issue, wouldn't you? As you said, Wes, go back to once a month for sure, because there are plenty of other Spider-Man titles out.
Yeah.
You want your Spider-Man fix, but please just keep the same artist and the same writer, and stop throwing in these random events which don't seem to matter.
Yeah, but again, you had that dark web event that that was just bullcrap. That was complete bullcrap. And is that why you had to have Joe Kelly come in, because he was overworked there, or is it because of the next thing? But if it was, get rid of that dark web. That was complete nonsense.
Maybe he was writing season 2 of She-Hulk. Zeb Wells was one of the writers.
Jesus.
Or we could just have Joe Kelly write Spider-Man moving forward. I'd be fine with that.
I don't know, man. This issue was pretty rough, Doc.
Joe Kelly's still a better.
You like that? The problem is
Spider-Man.
recently with that, non-stop and Savage Spider-Man. I don't know anymore. I think he might have lost it.
Doc liked non-stop Spider-Man.
I like
God.
non-stop Spider-Man.
I did not. Savage Spider-Man, I really didn't like, but
I did not like it either. I don't know. It felt a little bit depressing. We're never going to get the MJ Peter stuff resolved, and if they want to do the Felicia Peter relationship and move forward with that, go for it, but just make it good.
yeah, that's all you have to do. Make it good, make it in a way that people are gonna, accept it right away and want to see more of it, not just throw things in readers' faces and kind of I still think it's somewhat of a dupe, or I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
I think it's a joke.
I figured it out. Joe Quesada still has more blackmail material on CB Cebulski, so even though he's not with Marvel anymore, he can still prevent them from ever bringing back the fucking spider marriage.
Yeah. I don't know, after that whole pretending you're Japanese, that you could ever have anything against CB Cebulski that he won't even care about. The guy seems to have no shame.
I can think of a few things.
Well, yeah.
My goodness. Everyone's talking about Roman Reigns is going to retire. Does that actually happen?
Wait, what?
The chat's talking about, because Roman's not on the Saudi Arabia card so far.
Who cares?
Lucky.
Yeah.
He's not going to have a belt. That's why.
Thank you very much for the super sticker. Really appreciate supporting the channel. Lane Kraber says, like a sister was Marvel editor line thrown in. It had to be, right, Doc? There's no way Joe Kelly would have wrote that, right?
I feel like that was another, the editors writing something in there and altering a writer's scripts.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Won't be the first time. And I think, Joe Kelly doesn't write enough at Marvel to really actually get even that upset about it. He'll just be like, fuck it, I'll just go do whatever I want anyway, because that's what he can. He
Following
can
on
do
that, Calvin says, was the guy trying to be funny with that sister line? Was he implying something? Not competent couple would ever think that way about their spouse.
Well, I mean, it could just be commentary on the fact that whoever's the editor, their marriage sucks. But
Well,
Doc,
I mean,
you've had
or they're
friends
from a
that you were in a relationship before, right?
yeah,
I've never described them as, well, she's like a sister to me.
not then.
not
Never.
then.
Not afterwards either.
No,
What do you mean?
There's, you know what? No, there's some
Once you
ex-girlfriends.
sleep with a chick, you can't describe her as your
You
friend.
gotta
No,
tell your
no,
other
they're-
girlfriend now.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
You have
yes.
to,
I will absolutely tell the girlfriend, yeah, we dated a long time ago. It didn't last, because I have had relationships where it starts as a friendship. We're really close friends, and then we try dating, and it does not work. Like, there's not that, we think there might be that romantic spark, but there's not. And then we're like, okay, we
And the
figured
doc's
it
like,
out.
I still feel like you're my sister.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And that's the sexiness of it, he says. My problem is, if I ended
You
up
don't feel
saying
like
that
my sister
line,
anymore. I don't
yeah,
think you can.
if I even bring that up, anything like that to she'll slice my throat. I'm not allowed to say anything.
Hold on, that is only a pickup line in Alabama.
Yes,
West
West Virginia. I went to WVU. I know how it is.
All right, yeah.
Do you think they were going for the Luke Skywalker vibe or something?
This is what it
with the whole
felt
thing?
like. I was like,
It's like, oh no, you're my sister.
Yeah, sister. Oh, you made out with her?
I think that's what I went through everyone's head when that line comes up in the third Star Wars movie.
Yes.
Yeah,
I always knew.
Mr. DC Comics. Anybody watching the Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn bloodline story on SmackDown? Is Cody Rhodes being overshadowed by the story in Sami Zayn? We have a wrestling expert. Yule, what do you think?
I think it's going just the way it's supposed to go. And as far as the overshadowing, it's been the story that's been going on as Cody Rhodes hasn't been around. So it's not, I don't think it's necessarily something you can compare. This isn't necessarily the thing that's going on until the thing that we're expecting to happen. Just take it for what it is, entertaining. Because you don't get it very often. From any
when you get to the
company,
Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes super WrestleMania main event, people are going to be chanting Sammy, not Cody.
No. They would have done it at Royal Rumble, and they expertly booked that one. It's like, everything that Marvel editorial is not doing, they did properly at WrestleMania or for Royal Rumble for WrestleMania.
Well, that's because Trips is involved now.
We're not gonna. Yeah, exactly. We're not gonna say, "Oh, it should be MJ." "Oh, it should be Felicia," or anything like that. Because when Cody does it, that's exactly how it should be.
Yeah, he's not like, I think of you as a sister now, Sammy.
That's exactly what it is. Sammy's the sister. Exactly.
That's what Roman needs to do to really put it down. Is like, Roman, I can't fight you. I think of you like my sister.
Maybe they will have a good fight.
Your hair is really pretty like hers, too.
What product do you use?
All right, Callum wants to know, Gray, what is the story in Amazing Spider-Man 20 about?
Well, it's about Felicia and Peter going for a romantic weekend in a hot spa out in the is it the ski country? And surprisingly, coincidentally, guess who's there? It's MJ and her new beau or husband or whatever, Paul. So
Sean King. Call him Sean King.
Dude.
That's who he is.
Yeah.
Dude.
I've heard rumors, guys, that maybe they're setting him
like
up to
the
be
Silicon
Hobgoblin or something.
I don't even know why they were fighting, if I'm being completely honest.
Nah.
Other than that they were bad. That's why there was no stakes in the book. It was just there to get you to the end where he said, "She's my sister." That's not
It
a
could have been
capital
one
L fight.
issue. It could have been one
Yeah.
issue easy.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah, it felt like an annual issue or something just, there for
Would've
just
been
a
a
fill-in
nice
deal. Yeah, it
annual.
would have been pretty cool, actually, that way. And if it didn't have to tie into this nonsense Zeb Wells stuff, it could have been a fun deal of just a getaway. And that's the thing. You have these two issues. You could have just had some fun with these and got people away from the nonsense that Zeb Wells was doing, kind of reset everything and go. And yet you have to tie it in and make it that much worse at the end.
Well, that's the reason why I didn't care about the Silicon 6.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this felt like a Joe Kelly story. I'm sure I could see him pitching it real quick,
What do you think of all
hold
the
on.
PP jokes? The
Wait,
PP jokes.
The
Hold on.
PP jokes?
Hold on.
Whatever.
Wait. There was a Silicon 6?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
just
just
a
like
Silicon
porn
6.
stars?
No, it's like Silicon Valley, like tech.
Oh.
Yeah, it was these startup tech
When
kids.
he says, "I'm going to send
The
you to
other
jail if
Valley.
you don't give me your company," it was bad.
It was weird.
Callum also has a question for you, Jim. What happens in Wonder Woman Historia? Please tell me everything, and does it confirm Kelly Sue's hatred for her bedroom life?
Well, that is interesting. I haven't read it. I actually
You
did
didn't read
not
it either? I
read
didn't
Wonder
finish
Woman
it.
Historia. No,
I read the
I
first
didn't
issue,
read it.
No.
With all the stuff that we have going on and with the podcast and stuff, we usually just deal with main continuity stuff recently, and I actually have not read it.
Did anyone
I hear
read
it's
it?
good. I hear it's really good.
They lied to you, Jim. Don't
Well,
believe
the
that.
problem is they say it's really good, but then when I look at it, anything that has over narration and it's so many pages, I lose it. I have a very bad attention deficit disorder that I can't do it, but I hear
the
it's
first
good.
issue
But then,
absolutely sucked, even though they said
Yeah.
it did. It was not very good.
oh yeah, it got reviewed, high. It really did.
Sorry, Callum. Nobody actually finished that series. No one cared enough.
Was there a story in that?
No.
Wait.
I mean, I didn't expect it to be,
Kelly Sue's Wonder Woman hysterectomy?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't expect it to be very,
It's
heavy in story. As far as,
basically like
things
kind of
happening.
recalibrating her origin
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. with the
I mean,
lamented for the first issue.
I have customers that love that one, and it does have good artwork throughout. If I remember, if I recall.
First issue, absolutely.
The covers on that third issue, I think one was a Dodson cover actually, and it's like spectacular.
Nice.
You know,
Now I just go with
art.
the idea that anything Wonder Woman recently in the past bunch of years just sucks, and I move on. It's just bad.
Was it
Last
you?
decent thing Wonder Woman was Justice League Dark.
Yeah,
Find it.
Yeah.
Was it Jim here that reviewed with you, Wes, the Milk issue?
No, that was me.
Yeah,
Oh, that was you,
those
Doc.
are just
Okay.
awful, though.
That made me go and read that Milk issue, though. Review. And then I read it, and I was like, all right, you know, I don't think I had as much distaste for it. Like you guys, I couldn't match your anger on that one. So then I read the next issue, and I was like, all right, you know, it's got Yara Flor in it at least.
No, they're still mentioning the Milk this week. So
Yeah,
oh,
really?
Keep going. No, yeah.
At least
Al
there's action
says-
in that Wonder Woman.
Zeb Wells wrote episodes for She-Hulk. Oh my God! I don't think he wrote an entire episode, but he was in the writers' room along with Cody Ziegler and what's it, Gao or whatever that lady's name was. He was part of the writers' room for She-Hulk.
Pickle Rick.
Yeah.
Is that good?
They should lock that room and not let them out.
Yeah.
Ever.
Brad Frederick. Who would have thought a Cody Ziegler Miles Morales Spider-Man book would be better than the Zeb Wells Amazing Spider-Man book?
Right.
Oh.
They're
Kinda
both
weird, isn't it?
terrible.
I
I've
think
been in-
Cody Ziegler is a complete hack. That's just me, but
didn't like
it's
the
better.
Revelation?
It's an amazing Spider-Man,
first-
except for the Dark Web. You
Man.
know, Dark Web was really sour. You know, it was like one of those moments
It
where
was
if I
bad.
didn't like Spidey, I wouldn't read it.
There,
you know.
there was the deal in the Beyond stuff that Cody Ziegler did. He was the one who did the sentient sandwiches and things like that. That really seemed like they were getting that vibe for the Dark Web as well. It just drove me nuts.
Well, the Cody Ziegler and because you had Cody Ziegler and Kelly Thompson involved.
Yeah,
So it was two fucking hacks that have all of the humor of like a 6-year-old autistic kid.
No.
Well, there you go.
I just got
Hark-
the promo post. Oh, sorry, go for it.
Parker
Trying to tie it in.
Luck, what's that? Matt Bird says Spider-Man stories since One More Day are completely pointless. Thank you, Joe Quesada, for ruining Marvel's greatest mascot. Marvel needs the Spider-Man marriage back and all editorial departments fired. Bam, Yule.
Is this my customer that comes in and tells me all the time that, like, I tell him, hey, this is a great Spider-Man story. It's not even in continuity. What's the matter? He's not married to MJ anymore. I'm like,
Yeah.
who fucking cares? I hate MJ. You know, it's like,
You
don't
shut
like
your
the girl
whore mouth.
listen, Doc, we've gotten into this before, but if you look at like the ladies that he dates, the only one that sticks out is MJ. Okay,
Yeah, because she's
it's all it ever is
spectacular.
because she's not the one. She's just one. You know, that's it.
She's
She's not.
no, she's not.
She's
the
not.
one.
She's not. She's not.
Use
not
fighting
his
words.
lady.
Them's fighting words, you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, you know what?
Hey,
I've been
you're-
reading Spider-Man since I learned to read reading Spider-Man, and he didn't have fucking Mary Jane in his life. She was just there one day. She was the
You're-
joke. Okay.
I will absolutely respect your and defend your right to be wrong.
Okay. So even though he's
will
with
defend it with my
MJ
life.
in this book that everybody loves, he only pines for one person. Okay, and it
He's
ain't
telling
MJ.
MJ the story about Gwen Stacy. and Missy.
Exactly. I mean, that is the type of lady that
He doesn't
She's
pine
dead.
for her.
What is
He
he
doesn't
supposed to
pi-
do? Be with the corpse?
He
Yes.
doesn't
He's
pine
moved on.
for her. He feels guilty
You
that he
don't
got her
write letters to
killed.
dead people. Okay. All right.
Well, right now you have Norman. He's choking out what he thinks is the ghost of Gwen, so he can do whatever.
They bring Gwen they bring her back all the time because they
And
know
it's a
there's a
mistake.
segment of fan out there that wants to see her and not MJ. And you
And
know what? Then there's the people that can let go of Gwen Stacy. They don't want to see MJ. They like Felicia. That's the way it should be.
They bring Gwen back to show that Peter's love of MJ is so much superior to what he ever had with Gwen. He had a childhood romance with her. That's it.
A childhood well, firstly, no, he was in college. I mean, sure, we're younger then, but that was snuffed out. It had never a chance to get any bigger than it was. There was and talk about like engagement rings and stuff like that. Right before she died, there was a renewed interest in Peter Parker with Gwen Stacy. You know, it was all going to come together, and then she died.
Gwen was boring
Joey
as fuck. That's what it comes down to. Gwen was boring. MJ has some excitement. She has her own story.
The most excitement. She just gets in the way.
The most memorable thing that Gwen ever did was die.
Wow. Listen to you. Listen to you.
My goodness. Now, says scenario: Dan Slott walks into a chocolate factory. What happens next, Doc?
All I can think of is that fat kid from Wonka,
Absolutely.
Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory,
Augustus.
falling
Augustus Gloop.
falling into the river of chocolate for trying to drink it. That is Dan Slott in a chocolate factory. Right there, he leans down to try to slurp it out of the river and falls in.
Doc comes and
Doc
kicks him in.
the ass.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what happens. You kick him in.
Everybody just kind of like walks up behind him.
That's the
and kinda,
problem.
like,
Everybody's
shoves.
cheering. And
Yeah. And then they go, and everybody just kind of looks away right as you're about to kick him in. Everybody kind of turns around.
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
up at the sky like, I don't know where Dan went.
the
I guess
Oompa
he left.
Loompas don't even sing a song. They just walk on their way.
Cheer.
That's where you're wrong, Doc. See, what actually happens is he looks around, starts peeling every layer off: the shirt, the pants,
Oh my
the
goodness, he
socks,
goes
the
skinny
underwear. Exactly, and then he dives in. Nobody got to kick Dan Slott
Well,
into a river of chocolate.
Yeah, really. Well,
Come
at
on.
the end, he blames everybody on Twitter. He just yells, "Twitter did it to me," and cries.
and he's like, I don't know what a shower is. I can't get this brown stuff off me.
The chocolate's been tainted.
Blocks 6 people on
Yeah.
Twitter at that instant and goes on his
goodness.
way.
He
Blade
blocks
says
chocolate
events.
on Twitter.
Oh, bleep me events. Why, oh, why? Don't worry, sir. We're about to get into that. That's the next topic. Grateful Dog says, happy birthday, Wes. Have a red horse for me. Silver Samurai versus Moon Knight. May 2023 slits looks abysmal. Read Frazetta's Death Dealer. Well, thank you very much. Red Horse has more alcohol content than the other beers here, so he's trying to get me drunk. And the solicits are very unspectacular. I
Hey,
can't
that
even
sounds-
get myself to do a video about it.
Red Horse sounds really racist.
Red Horse beer.
Oh, I thought you said Red Horse. I'm like, that sounds kind of
No,
racist.
Red Horse beer. it's the beer that
Guardians.
you drink when you want the world to spin. You know what I mean?
Okay.
At least here in the Philippines.
It's
You
like
need
Colt
the
45.
kickstand. You need the kickstand when it's time to go to bed.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. It's been a while. I don't really do much drinking now that I've got the 3 children, 7 to 1 years old. So if I drink like a couple of the big Red Horses right now, I would be done for. Absolutely. But thank you very much. And definitely check out Frank Frazetta's Death Deal. That's been a really good comic book. So let's get into some of these events. The first one we'll talk about is DC Comics Night Terrors. So, Skip, you are a man of the people. You're more of an indie guy, but you do keep an eye on what Marvel and DC are doing. Are you excited about Night Terrors?
Hell no. Who is? I don't think anybody's really excited about Night Terrors. It's so weird for all the like DC events that they announced, or kind of when they showed that timeline. For that, like, how are they building up to this? This doesn't seem like it's necessary at all, and it doesn't seem like it's a smooth transition into the event. And it's a horrific event happening in the summertime.
Well, they're going to discover an old villain that's going to make him have bad dreams. That's how they're going to get there.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Only event I'm reading anytime soon is the Mark Miller event that's coming up. I'm not reading any other event. This is definitely one I'll be skipping.
Looking to Skipperoonie, huh?
That's my namesake.
Jim, you are a big-time DC Comics fan. Doesn't this feel like the same event that we've been reading for 3 years now?
It does. It. Here's the thing, that at least they're not pushing it as like the be-all, end-all. It does feel like it's one of those events that maybe you can, hey, I'll go in with it. But it reminds me of like I don't know if everybody read Gothtopia back in the day during the New 52, which was a deal John Layman where people ended up waking up in a Gotham that seemed to be like a utopia. You had a little bit of fun. It wasn't great, but that's what this seems to me like. It's just, hey, we have to have something out at this point. Let's throw this out. It doesn't feel like it's important, but maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe that's
Worlds
kind of a
Without
plus.
a Justice League, they just did all.
Exactly. Yeah, it's nonsense. It is. But Joshua Williamson doing it, I'm not a huge fan, especially after Dark Crisis, but he does do horror a little better. I think it's just going to be something that some people may enjoy. It doesn't seem as important. I don't get that it's in the summer. I'm with Skip. The idea of the scariest months of the year, July and August or whatever the deal is, it seems odd, but we'll see. And going with DC Dawn of DC deal, this doesn't get me excited for that either. So it might be a
Gabe
misplay.
Hernandez says, calling it now, Night Terrors is just a reason to get Dreamer to the front. What do you say to something like that? Shut your dirty whore mouth. Doc is gone.
Oh
apparently.
my God!
Shut your dirty whore mouth, Gabe Hernandez. No one cares about Dreamer, and she better not be the forefront of anything. My goodness.
At least it might be better than the Nightmares arc of Tom King and Batman, because that was awful.
That was awful.
That was so
That
bad.
would have been the worst story arc of Batman.
It was so bad.
I didn't like that.
Skip, you were still reading Batman at that time, right?
No, I fell out, but I came back in to read those. I actually like the Professor Pig one. To me, as terrible as
That's
the
the
back
best
end
one.
of
That was the one with
that was-
Damien. Yeah.
That was decent, yeah.
That was one that was illustrated by Mitch Gerrits.
Yes.
It's definitely the better one.
My
of them.
my favorite one was when Tom King redid the Bachelorette Party. That was great.
I guess that
That
was a
illustrated
nightmare.
by,
It was.
oh my god, that was illustrated by like an Archie artist or something. It was so awful. It's like what if Lois Lane and Selena Kyle were?
Yeah, I think it
Bimbo?
was Amanda Connor who did it, and he ended up. And the problem is our man Tim Seeley, I believe, had already done the Bachelorette Party before the non-wedding, and then he ended up just ask her that. We'll do that.
Oh man, why'd you bring that up?
I don't know. I'm miserable. But
So Gray, as a comic book YouTuber, as a DC Comics fan, you're a bigger DC fan than Marvel, correct?
Yes, I would say so over the years, yeah.
Okay. What is Dawn of DCU?
It's an excuse to relaunch a lot of titles.
It's
I
a
see
trade
it as
dress,
that.
right?
Yeah, it's a rebirth, isn't it? It's a second rebirth. Wait a minute, maybe it's an afterbirth. Oh
Actually,
my god.
if you look at the trade dress, it looks exactly like Infinite Frontier.
Yeah.
With the star and everything.
It does, but I got to admit, Wes, I was kind of they kind of got me with Superman issue 1. I know we're going to talk about that later, but I really liked that.
There were parts of that I absolutely like, but it doesn't feel like Dawn of DCU is anything. It goes into Lazarus Planet, where you have an Alpha issue that's pretty good, an Omega issue that's pretty good, but everything in the middle didn't concern any of that. We're getting a bunch of random events. This Night Terrors isn't exactly something that's key to the universe of DC. They're going to be having nightmares. Ooh, wow, that's really crazy. It's like, I don't understand. Are you building an overall narrative? That's normally what happens during a reboot.
Well,
The
the
first year of
staggering
New 52 led to something. The first year of Rebirth was supposed to be leading up to Doomsday Clock.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, I was just going to say you have to just have an identity, and it doesn't have it. It really doesn't.
They're staggering the release over the whole year, aren't they, as far as we can see, for the Dawn of DC. And then, like you say, the Night Terrors, from what I was reading, it's going to be multiple 2-issue minis. So it sounds like almost like an Elseworlds thing, doesn't it?
Yes, it sounds like Worlds Without a Justice League, but 2 issues instead of 1 big issue. Or they're going to be in a nightmare scenario where Worlds Without a Justice League was their dream scenario. It's supposed to say something about the characters, but none of that stuff ever even made any sense.
And it never sticks because it's a dream. So
And it's
why do
Night
it?
Terrors with a KN, but it's not a Batman event.
But it's not. Doesn't make sense.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's not a Batman event?
No.
Because they spelled it that way, and I was like, all right, I'm not reading Batman this year.
No, it's just Night Terrors.
Yeah, and again, when I hear that Night Terrors and think of it, now I'm thinking of it's all those amalgam Batman who laughs and like are those the deal? But it's not. But why put the K? Like, they think that putting that K is going to sell more because people are going to make that jump to, and then when they get it, it's not. It just doesn't make sense.
It leads to an expectation of what the central figure of the event's going to be.
Yeah.
But it's not.
No.
No.
Supposed
How
to
is
start
DC
it
Comics
with
working at the comic shop in Berkeley, California? Are they doing better now that they've got some new titles? Superman, I assume, sold out?
Sold out. I ordered too many. And I ordered a lot, is what I mean. I'm pushing Superman. I really did enjoy it. And
the art is
and because I like that so much, I'm actually looking forward to some of the other titles. And I've got that covered too, Skip. Of course.
I'm looking forward to that Green Lantern stuff from.
And Yule, has anybody come in, like, if they read, it's pretty early, but if they read Superman, has anybody come back in and say, like, what are the other Dawn of DC titles? Because I want to put them, on order now.
No, nothing like that. But it says Dawn of DC, and everybody is like, is this an event? Because then they put it on Catwoman, which is like on its 50th issue or something like that. So and it's like, well, this Dawn of DC thing is like, hey, we're celebrating that we care again. It's really what it is.
I just worry because we had talked about it, the idea that people might get into the Superman and then want to go right back to you and say, give me the other titles, and they're not out yet. Well, come back in June when Shazam comes out.
Yeah, we're waiting for Doom Patrol. Shazam, and
some reason they list Harley in there.
And then it's like, you see it on the list, and it's like the first one starts in February.
Yeah. It's just like, when are we going to get to this? And
but no, I'm actually kind of happy that they're doing it that way. Nobody's really like. Look, I have the DC buyers, I have the Marvel buyers. Sometimes they mix. They don't always mix. And then, true independents that aren't even just Image. It's less, buying Marvel and DC and those also. And it's, it can get tough. But, for DC, for the most part, the only time I order extra trying to get someone into it is when it's returnable. To be the truthful. So Superman, I was able to order a lot of because it's returnable. But if they were starting,
you're making the first 3 issues returnable, right?
Yeah. If it wasn't returnable, I would have been. I would take a look at how many Superman, regardless if it was John as the title, the main character, or Action, and I would just try and figure out how many people I can count on to buy it, and then I probably would have upped it a little bit, and then that's your first issue right there.
Are they keeping the $4.99 price tag, or is that just for issue one?
Super expensive. No, I believe it's going to probably be that way.
Oh, okay.
Batman's that way. Why wouldn't this one?
I think by the end of the year, everything's $4.99. We actually have a video about that out tomorrow.
Yeah, they're adding, backups to a lot of stuff too to jump the prices up.
Well, that's what happens when you're able to. You're saying, this should have just been a mini series. Well, if you do that, you can't have a new number 1 every month or week, and you can't put an extra price on that also.
So it's going to be Night Terrors Superman number 1, Night Terrors Wonder Woman number 1, Night Terrors Damian Wayne number 1.
But so the first issue is something normally is $5.99, let's say, and then the next issue and on is like $3.99, $4.99. But now we can just have everyone be $5.99, and then a variant that's $6.99 or whatever. Sometimes it's even $2 more if it's acetate or foil.
So you were mad at me at one point, Yule, because of my review of Superman Space Age.
I don't remember being mad at you about that.
You were not happy with me. You said it was phenomenal. I did not like it. The 3rd issue came out this month. Who was right, you or I?
Well, I haven't read it yet, so...
well, you must not have liked it that much.
Well, they had the long delay, and I didn't even read the 2nd issue yet. But I have those set aside, and
You busted my balls, and you didn't even read the 2nd issue
busted
yet?
Balls. I just said I like the first issue.
Right on the channel.
You got to find that episode. I'll watch it again. But I liked it. I thought it was good. I mean, it's it's an Elseworlds title. It's taking in all the stuff that happened, and it's trying to make sense of it in a going forward in real time storyline. It's like
Feed Machine is right. He says the delay wasn't long enough. You are correct,
The
sir.
delay wasn't long enough. Very good.
Now the delay on Green, was it Swamp Thing Green Hell is insane.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah.
I can't even recommend the comic book this time because I don't know when the next issue is coming out.
Yeah,
I would feel weird. It was like 9 months.
And I've had a lot of people come in. When's that coming out? So there's a lot of people that actually enjoyed it. But and that was also signifying Jeff Lemire's last mainstream work that he said, and that was like a year ago. I wonder if he's like, oh, I got a couple more years on that, but it's that time is like faster before he's willing to go back. It's the Swamp Thing. It's a shame. Delays are hurtful. They can be very bad for selling comics.
Especially if it's already started.
Yeah.
If you would have delayed the Mark Silvestri Batman Joker book by 10 years, but the first issue never came out, that's one thing. Once you put out the first issue, you gotta hit the number.
Yeah, absolutely.
And otherwise, you are Daredevil the Target and Black Cat the Evil That Men Do.
Oh man,
the Target only one issue came out, right?
Yeah, and
Kevin
I think the Evil That Men Do, I think I only had 2. And then I don't think that one ever finished.
Battle Chasers.
Yeah, I mean, hell, they announced the continuation of Battle Chasers over a year ago for issues 10, 11, and 12.
Wait, somebody in Joe Madruria's camp is late?
I know. They're probably playing another video game.
Probably. Oh, we got stoned and played video games instead.
Very good. So let's hear from the people. We've got a few super chats. Callum says, I don't know Joshua Williamson, but he strikes me as someone who doesn't take notes or knows how to execute ideas. I can kind of see that one, Yule.
I like Joshua Williamson. I just think that he was bogged down with all that trash.
He doesn't
that we
ever
didn't wanna
land.
read.
He never hits the landing most of the time. You know what I mean?
No, he
only
doesn't.
a few times he's actually done a good execution on the end of it, like he was going somewhere.
He gets
Like,
scattered with his ideas during even arcs, and then at the end, it can't land because he doesn't quite know what is going on, who the villain is. He's not great at that. I mean, that Dark Crisis just kept changing each issue. Oh, this is the bad guy. Oh, that's the bad guy, and it just didn't seem like he ended up really knowing how that story was going to go. And,
you know how, like in sports, there's always an excuse for why that person, doesn't perform. Oh, he
Like
was sick
Jalen
that
Hurts
year.
for the Eagles.
Like Jalen Hurts.
No, not Jalen
it's just-
Hurts. Like Ben Simmons will go with. Right?
Very
Ben
good,
Simmons.
Ben Simmons. I feel
Alexander
like
Diggs.
Joshua Williamson is kind of that way. Like when he was doing Flash, I really enjoyed it, but they were doing 2 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't keep up that scale. He wrote like 40 issues in like 2 months. It felt like, and like so, I give him the excuse. I give him the excuse of doing these long, stupid, event series that, I assume he's being put on rather than he's coming to them and saying this is the great thing we have to do. So like there's always seems to be one of those built-in excuses.
It is true because at Dark Crisis the excuse is, well, he's not that kind of writer. He doesn't write events, and he's you know what I mean. And the thing about Joshua Williamson, I'll give his dialogue's good. His a lot of the stuff that he does, he gets the basics pretty well. It's just the storytelling I think that he loses it on, and maybe they need to get back to events being Mark Waid, Joshua Williamson, and somebody else. They can kind of get together and do some things.
Or Tim Sheridan and Megan Fitzmartin on that bad boy.
Exactly.
Or we could throw Mark Waid into the sun.
Wow.
Yes,
man, I wouldn't do that. Batman Superman World's Finest is a little too good.
Don't care.
Well, I think Williamson, he's naked now. He's out there. He's all alone. He's doing Superman.
Yeah.
With a good he has a great artist working with him. A top DC artist, and he's got a lot of potential here. So
it's a great first issue. I mean, he can give you a really, really good issue. It's just can he maintain that and actually make it pay off by the end, which is what I worry about.
Here, Chuck Skills has a question for Doc. There's the Backlash series from Wildstorm collected in trade anywhere?
As far as I'm aware, no. There was a trade of, I think, the first 6 issues, but it's so long out of print because there's some rights issues, I believe, with some of the secondary characters. And it also had, because I think it had some characters that are part of Top Cow, and after the image split, a lot of that stuff can't get reprinted. Like, I'm legitimately shocked that the Absolute Wildcats came out and that the Complete Cyber Force was released, in the last couple of years, because you have the issues of DC owning the Wildcat stuff while Top Cow owns the Cyber Force stuff, and issues 2 and 3 are fucking crossover issues.
I totally
like
agree.
no.
I tell people that all the time, Doc, just to let you know. Like, these are the issues to get.
Yeah.
Caleb says, like Endgame, Doomsday Clock was like Endgame for me on DC, because it had the potential for endless possibilities if done right, but no. Doomsday
Delays.
Clock was killed by delays.
Well,
Delays.
And they changed
Delays
it.
definitely hurt it, and then a change in editorial or wherever the DC was going at that time.
Yeah, and Wally West was supposed to play a big part in it, and he's like erased from the end. Saturn Girl is clearly set up to do something really interesting by the end. She never does anything. All kind of weird stuff.
Wally West was definitely set up in that Flash Forward miniseries to have a role in
Scott Snyder took an enormous dump on him.
Yeah,
Scott Snyder,
in Doomsday Clock, and then that never happened.
dude. Yeah.
JT Thompson 1327. Is it true that James Gunn is going to cast Dan Slott as Mogo, the Living Planet? I think the casting is spot on, but he might be slightly too large.
No, he's a Marvel guy. He does Ego. All right.
Yeah, we already did Ego in Guardians 2, and it was
Dan Slott could play a planet, though.
Okay.
He could pull it off. You know what I mean?
I think he has
He's got the
decent gravitational field at this point.
Absolutely. Well done. Caleb says, why can't any of today's writers write out a fight scene and it's nothing but page after page talking and it's all validation and food?
I know. I know the answer to this one.
It's
very simple. Because they're writing cheap storyboards for Netflix and Disney Plus shows. They're not. Action scenes cost money to convert into live action. Sitting and talking don't. That's why they just gloss over the fight scene and do it essentially off panel in 3/4 of the comics now.
Yeah, that's what they did in Game of Thrones. You get to the big battle. The next episode picks up at the end of the battle where they're from the fall. They're like, we won. Like, honestly, barely made it.
Oh, don't worry. The book's like that, too.
But honestly, here, like, that was the one thing that, like, the Hunger Games movies actually did significantly better than the books, because the books, Katniss just got knocked out, and then you write, like, the first 5 minutes of the battle, and then she wakes up and they won.
You won't read modern comic books, but you read all the Hunger Games books and watched the movies?
I read the books like 10 years ago because I ran out of shit to read on vacation.
I was dating a girl and she wanted me to read them, but I said no. I was on vacation. I was sitting on a beach on a fucking island. There's literally one store. Or went swimming?
I was drinking. That was
you couldn't go to a gift store and get a Harlequin romance or something?
Dude, there was one general store on this island. Milk
did you read Twilight as well?
$14 a gallon.
What other bad books did you
50
read?
Shades of Grey.
Everything
with Fabio on the cover.
Right? Yeah, absolutely, all of it. No, I'm
one of those make fun of any bad comic books anymore because you willingly read the entire Hunger series and you watched all the movies.
It was three books. It was 3 books. It took me an afternoon.
Dude, I sold the shit out of those Hunger Game novels when I first opened. I mean, it was.
Did any men buy the book? That's the question, though.
Pardon me?
Did any men buy the book besides Doc?
A few.
I had them on my fucking iPad because I had downloaded a shit ton of books from.
So you were on an iPad. You had Wi-Fi. You went into the store.
No. Hold the fuck, bitch. Hold on. I had downloaded like an entire library of books at home before I went. When I was sitting on the island that didn't have any fucking Wi-Fi.
Doc doesn't roam.
I was sitting there going, well, shit, all the books that I wanted to read, I'm already done with. So the first movie was kind of okay. I guess I'll read the books.
Wes,
Yeah.
sorry about the comment. I'd say that check out. I mean, you all know this, but Daniel Warren Johnson and Mark Miller, I reckon they can write really good fight scenes without, words and words and words of dialogue.
Absolutely. And Doc likes. I'm not even going to get into it. That's it. You explain yourself. Dark Admiral March Hare, happy birthday, Wes. It's a buddy of mine's 50th birthday today, so I'm off to a surprise party. Have a great day. Also, it's also past time to undo one more day. Well, thank you very much for supporting the channel. I appreciate the birthday wishes. I hope you have a good time at your surprise party. And I thought one more day was being undone by Nick Spencer, but unfortunately went to Substack, and now we are where we are with Zeb Wells, going back to where we started. Callum says, also, how many of you saw that leaked cover art of Tim Drake making out with his Skittle boyfriend? I haven't seen it.
I saw it. And it's them making out. The problem is, again, there's worse things wrong with that book than just a cover. That book is a complete wreck. And, you can get mad at it for so many reasons, but the cover's a cover.
I'm surprised Doc didn't like it. I mean, he liked Hunger Games.
Really? Actually, I would think that.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to fly to the Philippines and kick you in the balls.
I'm sorry. I'm a middle child. I'm a natural antagonist. That's what I do. Mr. DC Comics. Action Comics, Superman, and World's Finest are the best DC books. It's debatable. People are enjoying the new version of Action Comics. Superman had a nice start. World's Finest has been the best comic in the entire North American market, at least produced here, in my opinion. That's been ongoing. You could throw Flash in there, maybe.
Yeah.
It's definitely debatable. They're among the best right now. They're certainly putting more emphasis on Superman. Is that a good thing, Jim?
Yeah, it is. That's a great thing. They should do that. And again, back to, say, Wonder Woman, write that whole mess, and you got a pretty good Trinity going.
Absolutely. Odin 87. Happy birthday, Wes. Is it worth starting Flash with Joshua Williamson, or should I go straight to the Jeremy Adams stuff? I think Joshua Williamson's Flash is really good up until Flash War, and then it falls off. He goes on the Flash Quest, which is absolutely terrible. And then there's 2 final issues where he tries to undo what Tom King did in Heroes in Crisis that I actually liked as well.
Yeah.
So it's a decent run. You get into the Jeremy Adams stuff. They're not really connected.
No, you got Wally for the Jeremy Adams, right? Yeah.
It's the Wally West series, and Williamson's Flash is a Barry Allen series with Wally showing up later.
What I would do is you start reading Jeremy Adams stuff and then just go through the Joshua Williams stuff at your leisure. And when you get to a point you don't like it, you could just skip to the next volume, because a lot of his things end up being that sort of way. And you're right, Wes. Once you get into the Flash War and all the different forces and things like that, even it kind of falls apart a bit. But it gets back to anything that puts the Heroes in Crisis away. I'm all for that. And Jeremy Adams does that at the beginning of his Wally West run here too.
In Reverse Flash is he the best villain at DC that no one ever talks about being great?
Yeah.
He in there.
Yep. And there's even craziness with Daniel West Reverse Flash that ties into Wallace West and things like that I wish that they would actually do something with.
Yeah. So there you go. That's our suggestions. Let's talk about the big Marvel event. We've got Contest of Chaos and Ultimate Invasion coming up from Jonathan Hickman. We're not sure who's writing Contest of Chaos. Doc, are you ready for more heroes fighting heroes? That's very exciting.
Oh, we haven't done this in 4 days. So yeah, sure, might as well.
What was the last one? Avengers?
No, I mean it was probably Wednesday. Whatever the hell was released on Wednesday. That was more.
Well, I meant an event.
That's
but
all they do.
Okay, you're right.
Axe Judgment Day was heroes versus heroes. Everything is heroes versus heroes. They haven't done a non-heroes versus heroes story. The closest thing you might have had was Sinister War. But no, even Dark Web, because they've been playing Ben Reilly and Madeline Pryor as not heroes, but also not villains for so long that I wouldn't even count that as a heroes versus villain event. No, look, you got two events that they are announcing within days of one another with the exact same characters that are both heroes versus heroes events. One is heroes versus heroes all from the same universe. One is heroes versus heroes from different universes. And even with the same fucking promo artist.
Dude, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. That made no sense. That confused the hell out of me.
That's right up there with Joe Kelly dropping that bomb at the end of that issue.
Yeah, it is.
Instead of Zeb, it's like, oh, we're going to do this great series with Hitch. And he was jazzed about it quite a while ago, saying on Twitter that he was doing a really good project with Hickman, I think he said. And then here he's doing the promo art for something that's very similar.
It's crossing the streams. It really is.
I mean, even a bad artist would have been better in that situation.
Yeah, like I mean, shit. You have Mark Brooks there. Just let him do another wet cover.
You couldn't do a wraparound with that guy?
Yeah, look, but they're the same fucking story. It literally coming out at the same time with the same characters, the same art. How do you even?
Well, maybe they can go out and get somebody to write that. They used to be for writing good stuff for them.
I'm gonna bet. I think that this is the other Jonathan Hickman project.
That's what I thought.
Both of them.
And
they're going to cross over. It's like Fantastic Four and FF.
But it is Doctor Strange from that art, the stuff, except for when he said it's not Doctor Strange. Yeah, because it's just called Contest of Chaos, not Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
oh, that's right. Yeah,
I read through that article waiting to read that Jonathan Hickman was doing it, and then I got done. I'm like, what? And then I read, oh, it's the Ultimate Invasion, and that just completely threw me off.
Yeah, like you got two different. What marketing fucking genius came up with this? Hey, you know what? We already do enough brand confusion with our characters. Why don't we do brand confusion with our fucking events at the same time?
Yeah, and I'm still reeling that we're going to have Summer of the Symbiotes. I mean, how many events are they going to have this summer?
Christ. I know.
You have Fall of X.
I got to order this stuff.
I know, and that's crazy.
Okay, so you have the X-Men involved at the same time, and Venom, and Spider-Man while they're doing their little Spider-Man event, and there's going to be an Avengers 60th anniversary that's coming out at the same time. While they're and then they're sticking all the same characters in two different events at the same.
Yeah, even in that article, in the announcement, they're mentioning the Hellfire Gala. You end up with the Summer Symbiotes. You have this contest. Everything is swirling around, and they just keep announcing more and more.
None of this makes sense. It's poorly spaced. It's poorly timed. It's confusing as shit to everybody. You know what?
Just quality control is what they need. You know.
What they need is a marketing department that says that has basic marketing skills. That says, maybe announcing two different events at the exact same time. We should use a different artist and put different characters on the cover.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said for continuity. The covers I really love, in the Bronze Age is like, you would get a whole month of like John Byrne doing stuff or Simonson or before that Kane and things like that. So there was a continuity within, the comic books. So I can understand when it's stuff like the covers, but yeah, with the advertising and there's nothing to go on other than the fact that this is the same person that you just 2 days earlier were talking about. Very stupid. Very, very, I don't understand. Where does that come from? I mean, nobody thinks that this is a good idea.
It comes
other than Brian Hitch,
I mean, hey, Brian, dude, make that money. Let them keep, commissioning.
At least get Alan Davis to do the freaking cover.
I know. You could have had Alan Davis do one of them and Brian Hitch do the other if you wanted to.
It'll look the same.
Yeah.
Greg Land could do it. Get all sexy.
Yeah. Honestly, they could have literally used any of the Stuart Immonen clones that they have for the Chaos one and left the Hitch art for the Invasion one, because you
What
know
about
why?
like one of those wet covers from?
We already said. I already said.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could have had. I mean, Mark Brooks can do another wet cover. He's probably not that busy.
Listening.
Yeah. Maybe they just want to confuse you and make you think that Hickman's involved with that, even if he isn't. That they're just like, all right.
Is it just me, or does the Hickman Ultimate Invasion thing seem like a bigger deal? Skip, I know you're the biggest Hickman fan I've ever met in my life. Like, are you excited about maybe the restoration of the Ultimate Universe?
No.
What? You're out of the Jonathan Hickman game?
No. I'm excited because Jonathan Hickman and Brian Hitch are doing a project together, and you know that I liked Hickman's Ultimate stuff. That was like I think I bought you as a gift on another birthday. I bought
True,
you
it was a Hawkeye.
Ultimate Hawkeye. Yeah, that was a slam bam little 4-issue.
Back when
banger.
my Comicsology worked.
Back when all of our Comicsology before the Kindleification of Comicsology, yes. But no, I'm like I didn't really want him to go backward. I wanted Hickman to go forward. I called that it would be something like this, but what I said I wanted back before Donny Cates. I hope he's getting whatever help he needs. Back before he was in this position and he was producing regularly, I wanted him to start messing around and tinkering with the Ultimate Universe again. But I wanted Hickman to get his hands on the new universe and kind of pick up where Warren Ellis left off. Exactly, Doc. Yeah.
No, well, I mean, look, hey, Jonathan Hickman needs to he needs to go back and get Bendis's leftovers again, because that's what his entire career is. Look, he's the one that kind of caused I mean, granted, yeah, you could blame Jeff Loeb, I guess, for Ultimatum, but Hickman's the one that killed the Ultimate Universe in the first place, so why not?
Well, neither
killed
did
it twice.
It kind of like the luster worn off by then.
Well, I mean, he killed it twice. He killed it when he came in and made it Ultimate Comics, and he killed it again in Secret Wars, and I guess he's going to kill it a third time. But hey, at least we have somewhere that we can shove Miles to get him the fuck out of the 616.
Yeah, right.
I think if the Ultimate Comics line came back and they had a good curated line with good creators and just a small amount of books, I think it would be pretty excited to have something that had new continuity to give people an alternative to what they're doing over at Marvel Comics, which isn't all that exciting.
Mm-hmm. That was my thought. I was like, since they botched him, doing the whole X-Men thing, maybe they give him the Ultimate Universe, let him spark it, with that little. Because I was like, oh, only 4 issues, like what? Why even do it? But then I thought, no, there has to be more. That has to just be like them reopening it up, and then if he can call shots, if he can get Brian Hill, over and get some other, just very good basic storytellers. Don't do this, Wes.
Feed Ayala.
I know it's your birthday, but don't do this to me.
Cecil Castellucci. Let's throw him.
Which one of his other wonderful talent evaluations are we going to go with?
All right, let's skip. I'm sorry I interrupted you to skip, and everyone started making fun.
It's almost like you said Martha. I wanted to say, why did you say that name? Why did you say that name? Teeny. But no, that's it. Just give him carte blanche. Let him pick the team. Not Jordan White, Doc. Not Jordan White.
He still picked half of it, and they're still shitty too.
Hey, but Brian Hill is not a shitty writer, and his story was probably the best out of all of them. It just felt like it had the least to do with all the rest of them.
He wasn't picked by Hickman.
No. He was. He went on record and said, yes, he left because he had movie stuff to attend to. He did get picked by Hickman. He literally said Hickman reached out to him and asked him if he wanted to do a story. And he said, yeah, this is exactly.
And Brian Hill told me that story was originally meant to just be a miniseries, but he wasn't allowed to announce that. And then it kind of got all wonky with stuff like that as well. They said if he announces it as a mini, people won't buy it. So he had to kind of lay low with that. So it wasn't really canceled. It ended up just ending.
Nobody bought that Wolverine.
No.
Chris Claremont and Frank Miller did. It was such a shame. God. Secret Wars didn't sell.
Nope.
Crisis didn't sell. Just sucks. Sucks when things like that just don't move, Oh well.
Do you think Ultimate Invasion's going to move, or do you think Contest of Chaos is where it's going to be at for the ordering, Yule?
I'm going to try and hype people on the Hickman aspect, obviously. And, Hitch coming back and doing an Ultimate book is cool because, he's pretty much one of the creators of the universe. And
someone got mad at me because I said he was the best Ultimate artist.
He's pretty darn good. I would never put Bagley in that conversation.
He said Bagley should have been number one because of all the Spider-Man issues.
No, I think Hitch or maybe like there was a Kubert working on X-Men during that time. Or I don't know. Bagley was pretty. He did a lot of stuff, but that Spider-Man, it was stretched paper thin, and so was the art.
Daniel Beatty is saying something directly to you, sir. He says Hickman is the Bill Belichick of writers. Great coach, but man, his coaching tree isn't good at all.
Agreed.
His coaching tree. I mean, who else are we counting besides the X-Men thing? I mean, if we want to count that weird Avatar series, I mean, that series that he did over at our Avatar Press, like, I guess. But I mean, if your coaching tree is not good, but you got a bunch of rings, it's still a W. Like, who really cares? Yep. It's up to them if they can't swim.
So you don't blame Teenie Howard and all of her work at Marvel Comics on Jonathan Hickman?
Look, did Teenie Howard, did she get any better when Hickman wasn't around? It's not like he was holding her back. Come on, let's be for real here.
She's getting worse or better. She's just Teenie Howard.
He's still a bad talent evaluator. That's what it comes down to.
I mean, I mean, if you want to call him a bad talent evaluator, okay, cool, sure. Like, he's still one of the best writers in comics, and that's what counts more than your talent evaluation.
You got what's his name on the map, the artist for East of West.
Yeah, but art's art.
Art? Yeah. Art has
Writers will work with anybody if they have to.
Yeah, but
I mean, Hickman did his own clip art,
Yeah, when he got
just to get that story done,
He still does. Nightly News was a dope story, though.
Yeah,
I dug it.
Is the Monday Morning Murders ever going to finish?
He says Tom Coker has had the scripts for a while, and he's supposed to be finishing.
He's said that before on a number of projects. I'll have
4
you know.
years now, right?
It's been more than that.
Hickman, I'll let you know. He's lying.
Hey, okay. I'm not saying I'm not saying he's not, but what else has Tim Coker been doing at the same time?
Or
Tom Coker.
It's that name of his.
Right. Well, yeah, that could imply something.
He
did
with
get
Tony
sick.
Khan.
It ain't like he's been doing anything else. I know he does some directing stuff too, but I ain't even really seen none of that come out. I did learn this recently though. Coker is from Sacramento.
Oh, what? Well, we should hunt him
you
down.
Can't get over now that Sacramento Kings aren't the worst team in the NBA. He's just all beaming. You're like glowing now. Oh my goodness!
Bro, let's go! Let's go!
Wearing Sacramento underoos. My goodness!
You want to see this too?
There's the demonetization right there.
I couldn't do it up to. I couldn't demonetize his birthday video. It's his birthday video. I couldn't do it.
Doc will do it.
Hey,
I can do it.
I'll be honest, guys. I just can't get excited for any of these events anymore. They just drop the ball on so many of them in a row that it's like, you're going to have to show me something before I'm getting out there telling people they should read it. Yeah, I'll review Sins of Sinister #1 and say it's good if it is, but I'm not saying the rest of it's going to be good. You know what I mean?
When was the last good event? When was the last really good, memorable event that you can name?
Yeah.
Blackest Night, sorry.
Blackest Night.
I have to really. Marvel was putting out
10 if you consider that an event.
Yeah, that would be one.
Marvel.
Yeah.
I did
Marvel
like Forever
for a time
Evil.
were really putting out some good ones. They had Planet Hulk and then World War Hulk and Civil War and Secret Invasion.
Planet Hulk was not an event. It was a
Come on now.
storyline.
All right.
It was a storyline in Hulk. It's not an event. It doesn't even.
You're right.
Back in the day, you're right, Doc. Nowadays, it would be an event.
It felt like an event at the time.
When it is still only 12 or 24 issues in its own title.
So the reason why I say
regular
that is an
ongoing
event
title.
is because coming out of the Illuminati story, they got together and decided to ship that guy off to the planet. So I kind of count it as an event because even though the Planet Hulk storyline didn't really affect anything until the very end in the Marvel U, it was still something that was happening that was leading to World War Hulk, you know. So it's you're right. It was the Hulk series, though. Not to get too semantic.
Don't you wish they would do that nowadays? Where Dark Web wasn't an event; it was just a Spider-Man storyline.
Yeah.
And they
well,
tied
no,
it into stuff like that, or
this was quicker. I'm happy.
It's just done.
Get this
they
shit out
turned
of the
everything
way.
into an event. Like Axe Judgment Day wasn't supposed to be an event; it was supposed to be the next Eternal storyline.
That would
they
have
said
been
we need an
awesome.
event. They threw the Avengers and X-Men in there, and it ended up being crappy, just like the Eternal series.
The Eternal series was unique and different, and it was introducing me to characters that I've never really cared that much about, and I kind of enjoyed it.
Sleep. Like if you
Pardon
needed
me?
to take a rest, you start reading that Eternal series, and you'll be right out.
Yeah, but I mean, I had
Called
read
The
them all,
Sandman.
which is more than I can say for a lot of things I even do like a lot more. But
Really, even Superman Space Age.
even super that
You were
displays
all over
them.
my balls on that one. You were mad at me.
I don't remember this at all.
I remember my feelings were hurt for like a week. I was like, I can't believe you did that
I am
to
so
me.
sorry.
I thought we were
So
friends.
sorry.
Oh my goodness, you just
In
put
no
me
way
on
did I mean
blast.
to hurt your feelings.
That Yule.
Yeah,
Last time I
you
went
know,
and
I'm
saw
a
that
sensitive
Yule,
man.
he did the same thing to me. That Yule Carter, he's a heartbreaker. That
Exactly.
Yule Carter.
My goodness.
That's right. That's right.
We do have some super chats. Let's hear what the people think. Callum says, I'll probably be talk, 1 page fight and more validation, women better, and socialism is a good thing, and that's it.
In the ultimate thing,
I
Well.
guess I'm assuming the contest of chaos. Maybe.
it can't be that much. It can't be
just-
that much talking.
It's just gonna be Wanda. That's what it's gonna be, some other Wanda event.
There you go. Callum says, on Venom, which is the best run? What's the best run to read on Venom ever?
It's
Honestly,
a weird deal.
I would have to say Donny Cates.
That's what I would
Every
do.
Oh, yeah.
Stegman art?
It is.
and the reason, and it you know, it's not a recency bias. It has to do with the fact that nothing before this ever really had any major lasting consequences. It didn't advance the Venom character
No.
beyond, you know, it was just random. He was generic adventure man.
I liked when Flash Thompson was
Agent
living
Venom.
in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was pretty
okay.
cool. He
The Ancient
had
Venom
that little
stuff I
girl
like.
sidekick, and
But
that was cool.
But I don't consider Agent Venom as Venom. It's a different
Yeah,
character.
it is. That Rick Remender stuff, though, I did like. The problem, I think, with Venom, though, besides the Donny Cates deal, is a lot of it was just stories in, Amazing Spider-Man and things like that I actually enjoy. To actually say a full run, I do think Donny Cates is the best.
Make Venom a villain again. That's what I say.
So-
Carnage too.
Solo Venom was generally pretty generic in all of its incarnations. He really, because he didn't have a character to really bounce himself off against.
Yeah.
I mean, he had that fucking laboratory out in San Francisco, the Life Foundation. That was
Zach Richmond in the comments mentioned Space Knight Venom, which I actually thought was pretty fun. Not
all right.
the greatest, but I thought it was fun.
Good art.
Common Sense hopes the Ultimate Invasion can give Jimmy Hudson Poison a big role. Also bring Elliot Boggs, not Elias Bogan, Doc. Elliot Boggs is also from Ultimate X-Men.
I don't even remember Elliot Boggs. I'll take your word for it. Or was that kid that Fury sent Wolverine to kill in a cave?
Common Sense likes the most obscure characters.
Yeah, he likes
in
to.
the world.
I
He's
just
Jimmy
just
see
keep us on our feet.
if
You mean
Jimmy
like
Hudson
Alpha
shows
Flight?
up and they play Belle Biv DeVoe's Poison, then I'm all for it. I'd like that.
They can stick Blonde Vereen Blonde Vereen and Miles and Spider Gwen and Silk and all the other spiders, they can quarantine them over in the Ultimate Universe and let that be there. They could stick America Chavez, they could stick Riri, all of the diversity heroes they could stick over there. And
sounds like segregation, Doc. I'm not really for that.
Well, there's a lot of white
Jesus,
people. Hey, Blonde Vereen is a white guy, and I want him to fuck over there too.
You don't like Blonde Vereen?
No, he's a straight white guy, and I want him over there too. Get him out of here.
Goodness. Federico de la Casa. I think Hickman wanted to smash Denny Howard and push her career to have some advantages because she's supposedly queer and hope to collect something. I think they're probably just friends. There's a lot of weirdos in comic books, so if you're out at the comic book convention scene and you finally meet somebody that's normal, you can go have a beer with and have some dinner.
We've talked about Teenie Howard. She seems like a nice person. She, she gets things done on time. She doesn't cause problems. So, probably nice.
I've actually had. I mean, it's probably more art driven because I think Nico Leone is drawing it on Catwoman.
Yeah.
But there have been people that have been enjoying her on Catwoman recently, or
About
at least
5
the
of them.
Catwoman.
I mean, yeah,
Well,
It's not
I
me.
don't sell a ton, and then a lot of it's cover related too, probably.
Yeah. The recent Catwoman stuff's about getting street flavors of ramen in jail. It's that hard hitting.
All right, well,
It's,
there you go.
Ramen, really?
yeah. It's less people enjoying it with Tinny than we're enjoying it with literally anyone else writing it. But I'm sure there's still some. It just the sales just keep going down. There's fewer last month than this.
DC and Marvel milked their events dry and killed all the hype. Events that make me excited are now Supermassive and Radiant Black Catalyst War. That sounds good to me, man. I'm excited for the big event, obviously, from Mark Miller. That's going to be a lot of fun. Combining all of his titles into one thing is going to be really good. I think it's going to be illustrated by Pepe Larraz. So I think it's called, is it Big Game, something like that. And if they're going to be doing an event for the Supermassive stuff, I love Rogue Sun. That's a great series. I really like Ryan Parrott, so I'll definitely be checking that out. But there's no hype left for DC and Marvel events at this point. It's going to have to be a prove it series. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we all feel what you're feeling, Common Sense. You are not alone, sir. Callum says, if Hickman wants an Ultimate She-Hulk or Angela, I'm available. As long as I can get away making them both hot, but actually act human.
You're out.
I'll give Hickman your Twitter handle. Be like, this dude is ready to work. We'll see how it goes. I can't guarantee anything, but you couldn't do any worse than Tootie Howard, trust me. You actually do a lot better. I've seen some of your stuff. Travlog, someone quick, call Days of Future Past an event.
Yeah, seriously.
It's an event, Doc.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It didn't because
Not till Secret Wars.
Days of Future Present was.
No.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
that's the annual one, right?
Yeah, that was the one in all the annuals.
They should do Days of Future.
But it wasn't an annual. How could it be an event?
Phoenix Saga wasn't an event either. It was a storyline.
That's true. You're right.
Back in the day when they knew what an event was supposed to be. Blade says, don't forget Rogue and Gambit Marriage is up next. DOA.
This week.
Yep. They'll make and Rogue will somehow magically start loving women too.
And who's getting all the feedback? Is that Doc?
Not me.
It might be you, Doc. Sometimes when we record, I get some feedback, but it seems to have gone away. I'm not looking forward to Rogue Gambit from Stephanie Phillips. I read an interview this week, and it turns out she has a lot of cats. I was not surprised. You know what I mean?
She seemed to be dating Brian Azzarello recently. I saw some things. Maybe he'll give her some tips or something.
So that's how. Well, he already gave her the tip. That's why she's
probably. Yes. Yeah.
Cat ladies writing couples never works out. Hey, look at Gail Simone. Cal Lyle, but Tini is incompetent and so very, very boring. Well, that's not the point, sir.
Yeah.
Low page rate makes her deadlines.
I could buy maybe Hickman wanted to smash if Tinny was even attractive, but she's barely mid.
Why are we even going here, Doc? It doesn't matter to nothing.
Yeah, the taste there is a little different on all sorts, right?
Dallas Moderman, if you could make it a definitive ending to the Marvel Universe or a specific character, what would it be like?
A 20-part epic.
Yes.
How
Summer
many-
event.
How many miniseries is playing?
Marvel
Joshua
already
Williamson's doing it all.
Marvel already did it. It was called AVX.
Oh shit!
Yes.
We're now in the this is the
post-AVX
afterlife. This
Post.
is hell.
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody
That's what they should
died.
do, right?
This is
You
hell.
I
need to
didn't
reboot
hate
it.
AVX like so many
You just
others.
kill
But
off what's her face again in X-Men, if she was still a human, and then just reset everything.
Yeah. I'm reading the stuff. I think it's more purgatory, Doc, than hell. And everything's just boring.
Good
Doc,
point.
was there an ending to Marvel Comics in your mind?
Yeah, I already said it. It's AVX. That's when it died.
If that sucked, that's not a good ending. Is there a good ending where you're like, yeah, that ends on a high note?
we're trying to
I don't
make
need to
the
read
ending.
Marvel anymore.
yeah,
It's got nothing.
Civil War.
Civil War's good. People like to talk crap on that thing. That's a great book.
It
Civil War
broke.
is good,
It,
but
it,
there's
it
more to it after.
fundamentally. It fundamentally broke the company in the end.
It's just Iron
No
Man.
one did.
No, it did. It
It's
did.
all
because-
heroes fighting heroes now. I
because-
know what you're saying.
Exactly. And everything since then, they have never been able to advance beyond that. So it broke the universe after.
It's like they needed Mark Miller to move them to the next step, and then he left, and there was nothing for them to do.
Yeah, and nobody else that's been there has been competent enough to come up with their next step.
Yeah, and then if they do anything, they just have to regress it. Yeah, that's Marvel Comics for you. That's enough. Let's talk about something that was exciting. We did get the Superman relaunch. Joshua Williamson writing, Jamal Campbell on art. I reviewed the comic book here on the channel, and I quite like it. There are some moments that felt like Superman. There's some great moments that felt like Clark Kent. I'm a little bit more skeptical about the Lex Luthor Superman stuff, but overall, it looked great. You know, I thought it was a good beginning for Superman. I know you said you're pushing the comic book. What was it about you that made you have confidence in it that people would like it if they'd stepped away from the character?
Well, all right. So just prior to this, we had John Kent as the Superman, and prior to that, like regardless of how you feel about John Kent, we had Superman by Bendis, and that was unreadable to me, even with great artwork. And so Superman hasn't been good for quite a while, except maybe like in Batman, Superman, maybe. You know what? There was when they were doing the Scott Snyder Metal storyline, there was a one-shot issue with Superman, and that was really good. There's some Justice League stuff that was good with him in it, but overall, it just really hasn't felt like Superman. The closest we got was that Superman 79 miniseries, I think it was, or was
78. Yeah.
That was awesome.
So that was, those, you get it from time to time, Superman, the $5 100-page books and stuff like that. But as far as the main title, we have not had a really good one for, since Tomasi, basically. And we've got John being older now. I was looking forward to it. I knew Campbell was a good artist. I had faith in Williamson because I keep kicking his problems onto other reasons. So I was already down with it, and I wasn't disappointed at all. And I thought, you're right, they got the character moments just right as far as like Superman being Superman, Clark being Clark. I know you had a little problem with Lois doing her thing, but I think it was we're getting that character now in a different situation, so it's new. And it's understandable because like who else can do Perry's job amongst the cast of characters that we know without making a new one? So I thought that was good. And the only problem, although I like it, they have a dynamic, Lex Luthor and Superman. He's getting in his ears all the time. He has to wear headphones so that he can't hear him as well. But it's kind of like Norman Osborn and Spider-Man. My two favorite books are Spider-Man and Superman, or characters, I guess I should say. And they got villains telling them, helping them out, basically. And that's a problem.
Yeah, it's very, very
That's my
similar.
review. Yeah.
What did you think about it, Gray? I know you were a big fan of this as well.
Yeah, and I enjoyed your review, and great comments by Yule just now. I'll just say, first of all, I've never been a big fan of Superman, so I'm using this as a kind of I know, I was always a Batman, I was always into the Batman ways, don't kill me, the dark side, but As a jumping on point, I think it's a fantastic first issue, but I've heard criticisms that, yeah, we've had this story before, we've had this happen before. For me, it's all new, so I love it. It's bright, it's optimistic, very, very colourful, very hopeful. But saying that, despite the truth and justice in it, there was no mention of the American way. And as a Brit, I kind of miss that.
I think a lot of Superman fans do, but it sounds like it's coming back in the movies, so maybe they'll be able to do it in comic books soon.
Ooh.
Because they Peter Safran specifically said Truth, Justice, and the American Way, the producer.
Yeah.
What do you think of the art? Did you like this style? It was reminded me of the animated series, but even better than that.
Other than the design on the new police officer that looked like a Dane, that had hair that was way out of standards.
Yeah,
I thought it looked perfect.
That was crazy.
No cop is going to wear penny loafers that respects themselves. You know what I mean?
Hey man, he looked like Gaston. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, he did.
Looked like he was going to a costume party. He didn't look like no cop.
Yeah. It was good, and I'll go with you. I'll go you one step better. The idea of having Tomasi being the, last time we had a really good Superman, but then when you go before that, we had a lot of garbage as well. So that was kind of like a big thing, and this actually, like the Tomasi, it felt like a rebirth. It's like how I felt when I first read, say, the Jeremy Adams Flash as well. The idea, and even World's Finest, it makes you feel good about the character and makes you want to read it in a, a positive type way, and a way of, man, this really gets it, and I'm excited for the character. I want to love this character, and the art really, really accentuates that as well. But it really, if you're going to push the Dawn of DC, this is a great way to do it, to start off with this Superman.
They should have made it a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Said this is what Dawn of DCU is.
Yeah, it's weird that they started it off with the Action Comics, which is fine, but it didn't feel like a good, started off with something that is a number one, where people can go, all right, number one, boom. And Lazarus Planet, don't even try to use that as anything with Dawn of DC as well, because all that was just let's try to make some characters and throw them out there. I even said it reminded me that reminded me a lot of even like a Future State. There wasn't really that much reason for it by the end, except to just try to push characters at people. But this Superman, if you end up like, hey, I want to know what's up with this Dawn of DC, right now I would tell people to read Superman #1, because this is I hope the flavor of that is with all of them.
Me too.
So Skip, did you read the Superman #1?
Give me a second, man. I just got past the Gaston part. I'm still reading it right now.
Oh my goodness!
He's reading it now.
I actually pulled it up right now. Was paging through it again just because I like it so much. Yeah.
Give me 10 minutes, okay? 10 minutes.
All right,
Superman.
well,
Superman is good. when the tone is right. When the tone is not right, you're reading a Frank Miller Superman.
I thought it was great that he heard that the wedding couldn't go forward. And
that was the best part, actually.
And then he was taking pictures of all the guests. Like, that's Superman.
Yeah. I love how he officiates a wedding. It's just hilarious. And it's all, like you said, it's snapshots. It's not, that would have been like 4 or 5 pages in an X-Men comic, just nothing going on,
in a data page.
But boom.
Explaining how he got his certificate to be able to.
Bendis, it would have been an arc.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Where's also that panel, that single panel with Lois and Clark kissing on top of the dead? Oh, mate, I thought that was so good. It was beautifully illustrated. It just this is Clark and Lois,
Yeah, it just felt good. Doc, are we talking you into this comic book?
No.
You were such a grumpy bear. That's what it is.
I have no. Well, look, dude. I mean, come on, man. You're trying to talk me into a universe I don't really like.
Yeah.
On a character that I mean, I like the concept of, but if outside of the Michael Turner and Talent Caldwell arc, the Superman Godfall, I don't think I've ever bought more than 2 consecutive issues of Superman, of any Superman title in my life.
You need to buy Man and Superman by Marv Wolfman, and you're gonna love the character. That's a great origin.
But what about? Have you ever read the Black Mercy one, the annual? What do you get for the man
who had everything? Yeah.
Oh. Have you ever read that, Doc?
Yeah, one time a number of years ago.
I'm just that's kind of a classic one. Have you ever read?
I'm not saying I don't.
I'm just curious.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
like to find out, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, what was the next one?
Oh, I was going to say another Alan Moore one. Like what happened? To
Whatever
the Man
happened
that's
to the Man
really
of
good,
Tomorrow.
yeah.
I really did enjoy that story.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've gotten
So you
look-
didn't cross over when John Byrne did it?
no.
Oh wow, because obviously DC was planning on a lot of Marvel people
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, no,
Man
I
of
mean,
Steel's amazing.
Man of Steel was fine. I mean, I've read bits and
Right.
pieces of it over the years. Never been a huge Superman guy. I mean, I like the character enough.
There's a lot of
You liked Red
Same-
Sun,
same
didn't you?
dog.
Honestly, you know what? I've liked a lot of the derivative Superman stories. I really
You like
enjoyed
Injustice.
like for instance, Alan Moore's Supreme.
Oh sure.
I really
Yep.
enjoyed the ones that he did there. I really enjoyed the
He's a
Mr.
Hyperion fan.
Mr. Majestic
Oh my god, those
the
are
one-
the best.
with Ed McGuinness and Joe Casey.
And Eric Canetti too.
And then
right?
Eric Canetti came on for
Yeah.
the second half of that run. I love that. One of my favorite single issues is Wildstorm #4, the one that has Majestic at the heat death of the universe and using, you know, Spartan as, you know, Jack Marlowe as the way to restart, you know, create another Big Bang.
Doc, you should read Project Superpowers from Dynamite Comics. Basically, they've taken all the characters that are in public domain from the past, and basically everything before 1970 was Superman.
Oh, I
Just a
get
different
that.
version of it.
No, my thing is I've just never really liked Superman. I've liked a lot of the derivative because I don't. Superman's not a character that I think is
Because deep
good
down
for
in your
that.
soul, you're not a good person, Doc.
Well, yeah, no. What I
Yes.
mean
Oh my
is,
god.
well, yes, you are correct, but in fact, deep down in my soul, not even that deep. It's like
Does he have a
surface
soul?
level.
That's
I'm
the question.
fucking. It's already kind of filthy.
Me
and
too,
gross.
maybe.
Yeah, like right on the surface. You don't have to dig. No, but like as I like superhero comics for an ongoing narrative, and I feel that Superman's a little limited in that
Yeah. Sounds like
because of
someone
how
hasn't
good
read
he
the
is.
John Byrne stuff.
Man.
We learned.
Oh, I gotta. So, I feel like I gotta disagree just a little bit. I feel like, especially since he got married to Lois Lane, whereas I don't really enjoy Spider-Man being married because I feel like when I've read him, you know, he has to be a loser trying to hit on girls, even though he's older.
Spider-Man was never a loser. Even when he was when he was being bullied, he was still bullying the crap out of other people.
Yeah, JMS rewrote that. You're right. Retconned. I don't agree with that. JMS, this whole run, I can't
He's
stand.
kind of an a-hole for the first 3 years.
But Superman being married, Clark being married to Lois is something I've really enjoyed over the years, and something that I enjoy with the character. So, like when they did the New 52, it was kind of a bummer.
Here's the thing. I love Superman as a character in a concept. The thing is, I don't want to read a long story like the long ongoing soap opera of Superman because I know that it's not going to take very long for the writers to run out of ideas, and their solution is, well, let's grime him up a little bit, and like, you know, let's dirty up his moral compass, and it kind
Let's
of
make him
damages.
renounce his U.S. citizenship. And-
Yes,
Sure,
exactly,
why not?
exactly. All that kind of, because Superman is so aspirational. I don't want to watch him get damaged by someone else, so I don't read him. You know what I mean? Like I know, like I
But
understand people
the
that watch.
problem is that so many people remember last week I was saying how, you know, you can show everybody all the different Batman books there are, but they're going to just buy Dark Knight Returns. That happened the very next day I was on here.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with Superman. Oh, he's boring. He's too powerful. He can do anything. And then you got to sully him up so that normal people can
You
relate.
sound like
I
Timmy
guess.
Howard right now.
No, I get that. That is Well, see, no, that is my problem with the writers that end up on it. As I want to be able to, I would love to be.
You
able
should
to
read the
a-
Peter J. Tomasi Superman,
I was about to say.
where it never even does any of that stuff. You know what Superman's big problem is? He's told Lois, because we're going to the carnival, I won't be Superman today. But he ends up having to do it, and he doesn't want her to find out. It ends up being a great story. And John Kent's there. He wants to go on the rides with his dad and all that stuff. He's trying to juggle the two lives of being a dad and the superhero. It's great.
That sounds excellent. My problem is what happens afterwards.
Afterwards, Bendis shows up.
They go to all the monuments.
Oh no, Jim.
Yeah, this is what I mean. I don't want to get so invested in that kind of story.
Because you do get to Bendis.
Because you will get a Bendis that their solution is let's muddy him up. Let's drag him into
Just stop reading it at that point.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this is such a hard concept.
I don't want it ruined. That's why.
That's why you stop reading it. That's why you stop reading it so it doesn't get ruined. This is pretty simple,
That's
Doc.
like my customer. I can't read the Superman story because Bendis is going to be on it and fuck it up later on. Well,
God, you'll never enjoy
that,
anything because
Exactly.
eventually it's all going to end or someone else is going to come. Come on.
X-Men ends not at the final issue of X-Men, but with Scott Lobdell taking over.
which is still fine.
Boom.
Which is still fine for the next.
You're reading that with rose-colored glasses. Go back and read those again, man.
I've read them again. I've reread them. I still enjoy.
Hey man, my favorite crossover ever is the Executioner song, as far as I'm concerned, and you can't fight me on that, or we can fight, but I mean, you can't knock me off that hill.
I think it's a very good.
I mean,
I don't know if it's the best, but
the reason why I mean, but we all have things that we like, and I think during that Scott Lobdell time, that was my favorite.
Wes, before you move on, can I very quickly ask the panel? I really want to know how do you all rate All-Star Superman, Grant Morrison? Because I love that book, but I'm not a huge Superman fan. I don't know that much about him. But
book if you want to understand who Superman is.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the coolest story of all time. I think there's better Superman stories. But if you want something that captures the essence of Superman, Grant Morrison puts it in a bottle in All-Star Superman.
It's magic is what it is.
Well, it's Grant
and
Morrison,
you got Frank
Quitely
for 12 issues. You don't get better than that.
Well, Grant Morrison also did Superman during the New 52, and it's not quite as good.
I heard that,
That's true.
I haven't read it.
Yeah, he didn't.
That's unfortunate, that one. Yeah. I think he's all the stuff that he had done and then going and doing a new Superman, he was trying to give us something a little different.
Yeah.
And he failed spectacularly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not Milligan on X-Men.
It's a mess,
bad,
Skip, did you finish the comic?
No, it ain't been 10 minutes yet.
Plus,
I had to talk Doc off of the cliff of comics. I can't read any comic ever because eventually it'll always get ruined, so I stopped reading comics.
No, that's not my point. My point
Doc,
is...
my point was that was a joke and I was being hyperbolic. You don't even have to defend what I just said. It was a joke.
No, dude, I get that. And you know what? For every other story, every other character, I don't care if it gets damaged later. Superman, I don't want the ideal image of him that I have in my head ruined by some other.
This is why he's never gotten married. That's why, Doc.
The reason that Spider-Man can never move on because of Marvel readers like you. Like, we can't ruin the ideal picture of Spider-Man. Doc will get upset.
Spider-Man's supposed to be a bit of a fuck up. He's a dick.
He is definitely a dick. I don't know what you was talking about. Like, he's always just been this loser. He wasn't a loser. He wasn't the coolest guy.
He was always getting invited out by Flash and then being like, and he thought Flash was making fun of him.
Chicks trying to get with him.
Yeah, he was just honestly, he was afraid of being laughed at so much that he pushed everybody away and was a dick.
Spider-Man's the worst.
I like Spider-Man. All right, well, we're waiting for Skip to finish up this comic book and give us his thoughts. Let's hit some of these super chats. Common Sense says, earlier about Zeb Wells' Spider-Man, you think Nick Lowe is behind all this? He makes Wells' Peter so miserable just to make Miles better by comparison. I don't think it has anything to do with Miles Morales. but I do think Nick Lowe is probably behind this. How's that?
Yeah.
What do you think, Doc?
Wait, which Spider-Man? Or I mean, Zeb Wells. I don't know if I think Nick Lowe is just not sure where the character's supposed to go, and
so he resets him every few years.
Yeah, he just resets him back to. He's still. I feel like Nick Lowe's a little too much of an acolyte of Joe Quesada, where the reason why we got the marriage dilution, the reason why nothing ever got better, it's not to do with fans that complain. Yeah, it had to do with fucking Joe Quesada not getting out of the 1970s.
Doc, we got another question for you here, buddy.
Yeah.
Lane Kramer says, I am doing my first CGC grading for Batman The Dark Knight #3, Finch White Rabbit cover, and Return of the Jedi #1 with the Hughes cover. Anything he needs to watch for?
I mean, with the submission, no. I mean,
yeah, what's he need to be looking out for? He doesn't want to get screwed.
Look, if he's submitting, just make sure that your books, like literally, go. You can Google
Do you have
what
pressed or what? Clean?
Well, yeah, you. I mean, if finger bends will drop you a grade. Fingerprints on a cover. It's not just color breaking creases and stuff like that. So if you got minor imperfections that are not actually damaging the book, those will still hurt you on grades. So yeah, I get them pressed. But look, just Google. You can look up what the Overstreet, guidelines are for each grade and what imperfections are permitted in each grade to tell you what it is. You just have to trust your grading and trust your eye. If you're good, you're not really probably going to be in for many surprises. Do you have anything to worry about? Yeah, slow turnaround time. Be prepared to wait. That's unless you're doing on-site or walkthrough and you're paying for the periodically they'll go to a show like a convention and do on-site, or if you're going to Sarasota and doing the walkthrough. But yeah.
One thing I would add to that is if you have a certain grade that you want, you can get your CGC pre-graded. So basically what happens is you pay $5, and if it doesn't meet that grade and you'd rather have it raw, you can have them do that. So say, I don't want anything slab that isn't a 9.6 or higher. So then your 8, whatever it was, will be sent to you without the plastic around it.
Yeah, they'll just return it.
You don't have to spend as much money to be dissatisfied.
Yeah, if you could do pre-screening, but they won't pre-screen where you can't say 9.8 as your pre-screen number. They won't do that. So I think it's 9.4 and above.
Okay.
I don't think you can do 9.6. I think it's 9.4, but I may be wrong on that.
All right. Caleb says Doc might like Justice League of America. It's all Ed Bennett's fight.
Yeah.
Was that the one from New 52?
Yeah, Meltzer wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or Metzler.
They have that at Ollie's right now in the like a little tiny box set of trade paperbacks that I have no interest in.
It's right where it belongs.
Sounds like you were right, Calvin Lyle. Doc's not going to like that one. Bert, happy birthday, Critical Thinker. Have a great one. Well, thank you very much. At first, I thought he said Critical Drinker. I was like, I'm not Scottish. What is going on here? But Critical Thinker, very nice. Appreciate the support, brother. Common sense. I like Superman from DC Mech. The Superman who didn't grow up on Earth. He has great character growth. DC Mech made trust Kenny Porter's Superboy comic. Made me trust Superboy's comic. You're the only person I know that ever talks about DC Mech.
Yep. Yeah.
Are you reading it, Chip?
I read the first issue. I thought it was garbage. So I know that Common Sense talks about it all the time. I thought it was just nonsense. And yeah,
those variant covers were cool.
Yeah, they were. It didn't give me any faith in Kenny Porter's Superboy comic either. So.
Well, there we go. Dissenting points of view. But
yeah.
Well, was it more the DC Mech story or Kenny Porter? You know, it's
Yeah,
obvious
yeah.
they're coming in with a concept that's, probably for younger readers, I assume.
True.
I don't know. I didn't read it, so.
And then I didn't like the Jim Zub mech stuff at Marvel either, so maybe it's just that I wasn't into the mech stuff.
He also says, you think Superman should be with Maxima? There was an old comic story about that, right? Kind of a reason why I want Maxima if there is a DC mech sequel. No, I think Superman should be with Lois Lane.
Yeah, me too.
Like peanut butter and jelly, right? It's like Spider-Man and MJ. They just go
Look,
together.
they tried Superman and Wonder Woman in the New 52. Nobody wanted
weird.
that. Nobody wanted it. That's like Kid Your Sister.
It's like, that's literally like his sister. You know what I mean?
I still want to see that porno with him and Big Barda. That's what I want.
Oh yeah.
The one from the cover.
Yeah,
You're gonna go back to take over Superman story and then a videotape, mixed resurfaces.
Was that the one that was called Big Bardas Don't Cry? Is that the one that?
Yes.
That's what it's going to be called now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it.
I think I saw that one.
Superman 8mm.
My goodness.
Ah.
Callum said it was made in 2006.
Wait, what are we talking about?
I'm not sure.
The DC Mac, the one that I just ordered last year.
He wasn't talking about DC Mech.
yeah.
He was talking about what was he talking about? Oh, the Justice League of America.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. The guy who did Identity Crisis wrote that. For
Brian.
Yeah, Brad Meltzer.
Meltzer, yeah.
Yep.
He's a lawyer. He's not a writer.
The novelist.
So was Charles Soule, or as Perch.
And then they had that really bad Legion.
So
everybody that comes from outside does a poor Legion story. God, I just couldn't stand that.
All right, Skip, you finished the comic book. What were your thoughts?
It was good. It was really good. Yeah, Jamal Campbell, of course, is awesome. Did it excite me? It didn't excite me. It intrigued me, and I'll get the next issue for sure.
There you go. What did you think about the dandy? Should he have looked like that if he was a real police officer?
I'm all about it. Like, give me I immediately just thought of I thought of the Billy D. Williams, Harvey Dent. You know what I mean? Like, give me that ghosts and goblins. Like,
yeah, but at least his hair was short. His hair wasn't down to his butt crack.
I mean, it was shorter, but this is 2023. Give me that full Al Sharpton, police chief. Give me that.
Nice.
I know it's a good comic book. I just don't like the implications of Superman and Lex teaming up. Do not work for me. They've tried that before. Lex is irredeemable.
I'm with you, but I'm gonna let them tell the story, and I'll decide if I like it or not.
We'll see how it goes. Obviously they're just setting things up. There are many different paths that they could go down.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna give them that opportunity to prove you right or to prove you wrong. But I'm gonna give them the opportunity, though. I don't want to.
I did like the Superman moments. They were nice. It felt like Superman, and that was a refreshing change of pace. So I quite enjoyed that part.
Agreed.
Dill Lindsay said, sadly, I missed most of the stream, so I have to watch it later. Just wanted to say hello to everyone and wish Thinking Critical a happy birthday. Well, thank you very much. You are going to have a great stream. We've had a great conversation here. Doc has gone off the reservation multiple times. Yul Carter made a fool of himself talking about MJ. Right. You have some great stuff. Jim has Tourette's, maybe.
Yep.
I haven't diagnosed it yet, but it felt like it was diagnosed.
It's diagnosed.
He still doesn't say fuck as much as me.
No.
Who does?
That's not all that Tourette's is, Doc. So we've had a good time, and thank you very much for the birthday wishes. Full Metal 737, happy birthday, Wes. Thanks for all the content. Keep up the great work. Well, I appreciate it. We got lots more content. I think there's going to be 3 videos tomorrow. I've already got 2 videos set up for Monday. I've got some ideas where I'm going to do Tuesday. So we're not slowing down. We're actually going to get back to the production I was doing beforehand. Hopefully I'll start feeling better here in the next few days. But I really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the channel and the birthday wishes. All right, Doc is back. That means we can start doing some comic book recommendations. There were a few other stories. I'm going to talk to Jim about the DC manga stuff for certain. Mm-hmm. Gray, you're a good guy. You're a Brit. You're living in Asia. You probably like a lot of manga. Are there any actual comics that you're going to recommend this week?
Surprisingly, despite living in Japan, I'm not that big into manga. I've always been into American comics, Wes. They're my first love. So I will shout out Mark Miller's Magic Order. It's volume 4 now. Issue 2 came out. It's absolutely fire. It's really, really good. And of course, Superman issue 1. It's got to be a buy. That definite buy. If you're not reading Nightclub by Mark Miller and Nemesis Reloaded, I recommend both of those. They were out last week, I think. That's right. But what I don't recommend is Amazing Spider-Man 20. Sorry, Yul. That just, oh my God.
It's understandable.
So thanks again. Thanks for having me on, Wes. I really appreciate it. And yeah, great to hear some really good comic talk.
Well, I'm glad you could be a part of it. We'll definitely have you back here on the show. Skip, you've been all about the Sacramento Kings. You haven't even had time to read Superman until during the stream. My goodness. You got any recommendations this week?
There's back-to-back games, man. Give me a break.
He takes a day off after back-to-backs.
176 to 175.
That's right, baby. That's right. We did it. Recommendations, of course, Art Britt, who is W. Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo, the Ice Cream Man team. This is the book that they did before Ice Cream Man. It was called The Electric Sublime, repackaging it. It's Art Britt, so I would say check that out. Definitely agree on Nemesis Reloaded and Nightclub. Those are fun books, especially Nemesis Reloaded. Torrent number 1, Mark Guggenheim, Justin Greenwood, Rico Renzi on colors. I'm digging like spins on Capes books and stuff like that. So I like the whole idea of a heroine. You take away the things that are most valuable to her. What stops her from turning to the other side. And then from this week, Ice Cream Man, of course, number 34. Local Man number 1. Pink Lemonade number 6. I didn't read Ronin book 2 yet, but the best comic book that I've read last year and this year so far finally wrapped up. 20th Century Men from Image Comics number 6. Dennis Camp, who is a really good friend with W. Maxwell Prince. It's gonna win awards. It's gonna be nominated for a bunch. Just read it now. Thank me later. Next.
Oh, really? Is that good? Yeah.
It's that damn.
He's gonna be the next.
good.
What is it?
Nice one.
The Valiant series. Bloodshot.
Exo
He's next
Manowar?
Bloodshot, right?
Oh yeah. He's on that
that's
one
cool,
right now, and he's doing a good job on that too. And it's cool because every book, like I've been reading his, forgetting the name, but it was a scout book. It was called Chaos Agent originally. Now it's called Agent of World. I've been reading that really quirky, weird Grant Morrison-esque type stuff, and then you go over to his Bloodshot, and it's different. And then you go to his 20th Century Men, and it's totally different. So he's got some really great range in the art. And 20th Century Men by S. Stipien, and he does like fine art, but he's doing comics too. Check it out.
Cool.
Calvin Sense says Infernal Girl Red number 2. Make sure you're reading because next month after number 3, we will have important versus debate. Who's the challenge? Happy birthday, Wes. Well, I'll have to keep an eye on that, or else I'm going to look stupid during the versus debate. But thank you very much for enjoying the show and being a part of the stream, and absolutely thank you for the birthday wishes. Really appreciate that. Yul, you're a comic book retailer. You make money selling comic books. You were pushing Superman number 1. Is there anything else that you thought people should buy this week?
There's a trade paperback from Image that came out called Sins of the Black Flamingo. Not something I normally would recommend or read, I should say. Has main character. He's gay, and he's it's not flaunted, other than the fact that this guy's flaunting his self all over the place, and it's a cool little mystery that's going on in that, and it's supernatural. It's got angels and stuff like that. It's cool book. I like that. And I would also recommend from Marvel, Doctor Strange. This is the 4th issue of the Fallen Sunrise series, written by Tradmore. But more important,
so someone asked in the comments, can you explain what the book is about?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
I have problems with that, even though I am recommending it.
I'm recommending it solely based on artwork alone, and if you get any story from it, bonus. But this is one of those books that doesn't matter. Get the Treasury edition if you haven't got the issue. I think it reads
better as a trade, likely, and you'll probably be able to follow it. But it is very dense, and it's very difficult to find out exactly what's happening.
I expect to really enjoy it in the larger format with hallucinogens. That's how I'm going to do it. So
hit a couple caps and crack that book open.
Oh yes. Microdosing is allowed in Oakland therapy or medicinally, so we're going to go crazy on that.
Nice.
So what about mega dosing?
Megan. Oh, I got that one
Oh,
too, dude.
Skip, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
that Tradmore is amazing, and
Yeah.
I can understand there will be some people if you only like a figure drawn like a normal figure, you're not going to enjoy Tradmore probably. But you gotta, your Picasso side has to come out.
If you're a no good hippie, you're gonna love this comic book. It's got the illustration
Right?
for you.
Yeah, totally.
Dirty hippies.
Who else we got? Jim, you got any recommendations this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna go pretty, basic. Superman #1, but also I'll say Strange Academy Finals. I think it's #3. It's weird because I really love Strange Academy. I hear a lot of people say, but yet when I see the sales charts, it doesn't sell at all, and it's kind of a
It's more
shame.
of a kid's book. It's
Yeah,
kind of,
it's just a shame that
it
it
is.
doesn't do better because people want it to keep going, and you end up where it just never seems to sell.
Scotty
Though
Young
people
and
will
Humberto Ramos,
go
like,
on, yeah.
all-star
But I
team.
really do enjoy it. I enjoy that book a lot. So that's my
good.
2 recommendations.
Great series. Great series.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You have kids and you want to get them into comic books, but you don't want them to read Dogman or manga.
Wow.
Go get Strange Academy and then
Mm-hmm.
move on to the finals, and you're going to be very happy. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Doc, you are a bane on the channel. You're just grumpy all the time. You didn't even like Superman #1. Are you recommending any comic books this week?
I am. Hold on. Let's see.
Ooh.
I am going to.
Are you going to
See?
crack that slab?
No, this isn't a slab, dude. This is just a trade.
Oh, the slab is behind it. Okay.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a nice one though.
It's the Superman Godfall with
Talent
Michael
Caldwell,
Turner
is that who it is?
Talent Caldwell does all the interiors. I think Michael Turner and Joe
You
Kelly
name your kid
write it.
talent, you don't like him. Right out there.
Dude, the art in this is so fucking dope, though. Like, here, hold on. Let's see. Oh, of
He's
course.
He's
gonna
going to
crack
try
the
and show you a
spine.
page without showing
This
you
is
his
better
face.
than cracking the slab. He's cracking the spine.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh yes, oh yes.
I have a bunch. You know what? Talent Caldwell's most of my original art's from him. So I have the cover of Wildcats Nemesis #5 upstairs.
Did what's his name? I can't. Michael Turner.
He did all
he
the covers.
bequeath Aspen to Talent Caldwell afterwards?
No, not as because actually, Talent had left before Aspen actually got started. While they were still in like the lawsuit with Top Cow over rights to Fathom,
Which is
Talent
funny.
left.
All right, guys.
So and
Daddy
then
needs
next,
to eat, and I got 2 more videos to record.
Uncanny X-Men #50. Mine's signed by Jim Steranko though. So, and let's see.
Best
What do we got here? Damn. Can't really see this one. It's Uncanny X-Men #8 from the Bendis series, but it's the SDCC. I think it was the cosplay variant with J. Scott Campbell cover. And finally, some Uncanny 137. Jesus Christ, this fucking sucks. All the camera sucks with all the glare. Fuck this, I'm done.
It's okay. We
Crack
know what
the
that looks
slabs
like.
and show people what the comic looks like. You don't
That's
want to see
right.
that slab crap anyway.
Oh.
Give it to us raw, Doc.
Show your face as well, Doc. Come on.
No. I show side beer.
He'd crack the slab if he turned on the camera, or if
Side
he
boob?
if he
Yeah.
was.
So I do want to say thank you very much to everybody for joining me today. I hope Josh is doing well. He actually had some work came up. That's why he didn't get to join us today, but he'll be back next week. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Had a great time. Yes, there are too many events from DC and Marvel, but Superman #1 gives you a little optimism for the future. It's actually a good series. So it was all comic book talk today, and I did appreciate that one. We will see you all here next week for the Comics Aficionados. I think Fatal J is going to join us. There's a couple other people that